What's good, y'all? Hope everybody's living well and staying blessed. It's your boy Marcus B. As always, I'm with just new guy Chris today. Mr. Evan Simmons had something else going on, so he cannot be here with us. And because of that, naturally, the electronics decided to not work. So we have one camera, just recording it on the phone. But nonetheless, this was a fantastic episode. I sat down with a good buddy and former college friends. I don't know what. I was going to say roommate, but we actually never lived together, but we lived in the same place. Whatever. My good buddy, Vincent Pena, he is a middle school choir director down in San Antonio, and we talk about our time in college, our time in high school, prom, some fraternity stuff, a healthy dose of nonsense, and then it ends with some really insightful conversations about politics and what is going on in the current state of the United States. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode. As always, if you like what we're doing out here, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and most importantly, share with all your homies, so that way we could get to as many people as possible. We're chilling at, is it still 110?
113.
113 subscribers. We're slowly making our way up, man.
That's awesome.
So if you guys can share with your friends, appreciate it. Also, if you're not subscribed, do so that we can see the clips. So if you're not down to watch the entire 2.5 hour episodes, you could just see the 13-minute, 10-minute clips that new guy Chris has been doing. So hope you guys enjoy the episode. Peace.
Yo, add that in. Add that in.
On cue. I am so angry.
That's awesome.
That kid, proven that no matter what time, what day we record, he just has it on lock.
Put that in the master. Like, put that in the mix. That is perfect. You're driving off. You're getting ready for this podcast.
Oh my god. I mean, that is the most well-timed one. Usually it's in the heat of a
conversation or something.
Strong conversation. It's always like a very intimate moment.
I know, dude.
Thanks,
Motorcycles.
Well, no, it's a Challenger.
Oh, Challenger. I thought it was a motorcycle.
It was not.
Oh, man. No, you can't do Challengers.
Anyways, sorry for the late start.
You're fine.
Electronics hate me. I appreciate you coming out.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I was really excited to do this.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited to have you on. Like I said, before off camera.
Yeah.
There's some things that I do want to get into eventually, but I also just want to catch up because
it's been too long. Like, golly.
The last time I saw you, I think it was that we went to that wing spot with Sarah and Felicity.
Yeah, that's right.
When was that?
Anchor Bar. That was like last winter, I think.
Was it this time last year?
I think it was this time last year.
Just about. Jesus.
Yeah, and man, that is such a long time ago, though.
Such a long time ago.
And it seems like yesterday. Time.
Oddly enough,
dilates.
Time. This time in history has
for sure.
just been such a weird day-to-day time.
For sure. Absolutely. It's minutes seem like hours and hours seem like minutes. That's a lot of times I feel like that.
And a day feels like forever, but then a month goes by.
And you're like, whoa,
what?
I'm a month old.
Yeah. And then, but then also it's just been weird because we've talked almost every day.
I know. That group
March.
chat, dude, godsend. That group chat is a godsend. I think
it really is.
You know, going into when everything got shut down, like, we leaned on that group chat so heavily.
Yeah.
That and Fortnite.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, I don't think I've talked to. I think I talked to Chris about it. Had I not, I know for sure I haven't. Whatever. Had I not bought that PS4
For sure.
on a whim during Black Friday last year, I was like, I'm not gonna have time to play this, but it's like $200. Why not?
Yeah.
Like on the off chance that I get some downtime during Christmas.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then just happened to have it. I think it was either Jason or somebody convinced me to download Fortnite.
For sure.
Kind of just messing around with it. And then it's like, hey, the world's shut down and you're locked up here in Temple with nobody else to be with.
Can't be around anybody.
Here's this group chat of nonsense with
absolutely ludicrous.
9 other dudes. And we're just going to talk hella mess to 4 a.m. in the morning.
Oh man.
Play Fortnite on creative mode and just be really angry all the time.
All the time. We were like, it was like group therapy session, clowning on each other, talking about the world, talking about topics, and it was awesome.
There was a couple weird times where everyone would get off, and then there would be like 3 or 4 of us still, and we wouldn't play. We'd just like
chatting, yeah. Which is good though.
No, it's definitely good. Definitely needed.
Yeah, it's weird that our common, like, we did that only on Fortnite though.
Yeah, that's
like,
what.
Never a FaceTime or like we were just like, no man, we're gonna get sweaty. We're gonna learn how to get good.
Yeah. And then as soon as everybody was like to a fairly good level, we're like, all right.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, we spent like 6 months on this, so let's go away from it. I still think about it. I'm like, man, we were diving deep into that Fortnite life. Like, we would play multiple times throughout the day, but then like once 10 o'clock hit, that was it. And it's because we couldn't go out.
That was power hour.
Yeah, that's power hours. Like, the latest, I think y'all stayed up. I think I went to bed at like 1, and then the next day on the chat, I'm like, why is nobody here? Why is nobody responding? And it's like, oh, we stayed up till 5 a.m. I was like, doing what?
Nothing.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Doing nothing.
That's because everyone was doing nothing.
Yeah, that was good. I definitely don't know how quarantine would have been otherwise.
Definitely like a good mix of like openness and a good mix of nonsense. It's just like an upper, always an upper.
Yeah.
And very few times that I was like, okay, let me put that chat away. But if it was probably because I was trying to sleep and not get any notifications.
Fair enough. Yeah. I remember I tried for a stint of time. I tried turning the notifications off, and I just kicked myself out the chat.
You left the group. We're like, where'd Marcus go?
And I was actually kind of frustrated, but I was like, did they just stop talking?
Yeah.
Like, then I looked at my message, it was like, oh, it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah. What happened here?
I think the one time I woke up in the morning, and I think I was sleeping in, and there was like 160 notifications from that chat, and I was like,
oh my
let's read them. Let's go. I got nothing else to do.
Always had to read them. Yeah. Always had to catch up, figure out what.
3 hours later, we'd be like, man, that was great.
Yeah, every morning conversation was it was impressive how much we had to talk about when there was nothing going on.
You know, I think in college, like, we just got that, like, spit spat out so fast. Because we would see each other in the hallway for 5 minutes at a time and then go to our next class or go practice or go be at a performance, whatever. And then now, as educators, like, or just professionals, I should say, like, we're just so spread out that it's harder to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that group chat has evolved. It's kind of been like what we left from college, but now we can just kind of use it quickly to talk about things that
I agree with that.
You know, you're not going to talk to your coworkers about or people you haven't known for 9 years.
Yeah.
You know,
that is also a weird thing. Like realizing how long we've all been talking to each other.
For sure, dude. Like
it's been a really weird moment of like soberness almost. Just like realizing like, oh, no, I've known these kids for 7 years. Right?
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's like thinking about like when you came to Texas State. What year was that?
2014, I believe.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah. That
doesn't feel like 6 years ago.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, but it is. You know?
It's been 6 years.
Yeah.
Or it's just like I've been out of Texas State for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's
super strange.
Time goes by, and we just gotta keep moving forward. It's such a weird thing to think about, though, that like our lives completely change in so many different ways.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things that I've always talked about with like newer people who are coming to the profession, leaving Texas State, I'm like, Texas State is not reality. Like, you're not gonna be able to talk and meet with your friends and just sing or just make music together. Yeah. Like a lot of us, like we were living a bohemian lifestyle in Texas State. Like I know especially
unknowingly,
us.
Yeah.
Post Road, baby. We were living bohemian. It was basically like all the bad things from Moulin Rouge we were living in, and none of the singing, none of the musical. No, it was just the squalor. The squalor.
Yes.
So. But those things are cool when you think about it. Like those are stories you get to tell.
I mean, always looking back at our time in college and just being like, damn, we did so much, often too.
And that's a cool thing looking back, because you'd be like, I did do that, and I have done this. Like, I didn't just sit in a dorm room. I didn't just sit in a apartment. Like we were out making music. We were out singing, making connections. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah, yeah. And then as with everything, the healthy dose of nonsense in between.
Oh my gosh, so many stories.
All the fraternal stuff.
Yeah.
All the casual day-to-day living, trying to figure out, like, we were talking to him the other day, and he's like, what'd you say you spent how much on a month on groceries?
Like $70.
$70 a month.
Yeah, that's about where I was at too. I was penny pinching.
Yeah, I was thinking back to it, and I was like, oh shoot, I don't remember how much I was.
Yeah, groceries wise, I would go to that little HEB, which was the big HEB in San Marcos, and I'd try to find like grains and then a protein, and then I wouldn't buy any snacks. Like there wasn't any money for it.
Yeah. Just thinking back to that lifestyle of.
Is that black mold? I don't know if it's black mold. Like I don't know about your apartment, but that was my apartment. I was like, is that looking at me or?
No, man. I just had the landlord living next to me. And
you did have the landlord living
being real suspect a couple nights here and there.
I mean, that whole place was.
I mean,
but $300.
What do you expect for $300 a room, man? You get what you pay for.
I think Bishop Square was going out for like near $1,000 for a room.
Not me.
No, not me. Whose wallet? Not my wallet. You're gonna pay 12 months, and I just paid like 3 months of my rent in the same amount. Like, you know.
Not down. Not down at all. But we made it out, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Against all odds.
Now I look at the apartment I live in now, and I'm like, whoa, how did I do that?
Wow.
But I guess that's like the means. It changes what you want, you know.
Yeah. Thinking about that too. I'm not gonna lie, being in this apartment now, I do miss that apartment.
For the like the jovialness of it.
Jovialness, but then also just like the layout wasn't bad.
You know, yeah. If you take those little like 6x6 rooms, and you blow them up to a 10x10, perfect layout. Yeah, perfect layout. I love it, and like living with dudes and like just being bros and having this little full house community, but just not full housiness.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Those rooms were so tiny. Oh my.
Yeah, they were. They were super tiny. Like I remember, I had set up my room to where I had my TV. You have those closets. I took the doors out my closets just to make extra room because there's no room.
Had to.
How am I gonna open this door and then it's gonna bump my dresser? You know, just had my bed, my desk. That's it.
Yeah.
Like you had about a square foot here and there to step, and then other than that, you were like, just crowded.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I had a TV in my room.
No.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know I had a desk and I had the bed, but that was it. And then I had room to do push-ups between my bed and the desk. That was it. Like that was my gauge of
solitary.
Space. Yeah. But then also the fact that it was a queen size bed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
exactly. Like queen size bed is basically touching the other wall when you put it down.
Yeah, that's so when I remember when I rearranged the room.
For sure.
I did it, and it gave me the most quote unquote push up space. Yeah. But then I had the same issue with the dresser door. I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna take these off, and now.
For sure.
Whatever.
When I first got there, I had like a little memory foam 4-inch pad that was on the ground, and that was like where I was roughing it.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, so I had gotten into Texas State, and I had gotten in April, and after 2 years at Del Mar, got in April, and then was coming for that fall for my third year. And then, but like, I was doing this all by my own, and I didn't really have anybody to like bounce things off of because like I'm a first generational college student.
Yeah.
And when I was going to Del Mar, I was driving from Rockport, my home, and I would just drive back, nothing. But I didn't know how to get an apartment by myself, and so then I got hooked up with Post Road and Post Oak Villas, you know, and
Shout
just
out.
kind of lucked out. I mean, I actually, I know we joke about the rent price, but like I wouldn't be able to afford college with $1,000
No
a
way, dude.
month.
There's-
Even if I was hustling, even if I was working, that'd be hard.
I was.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
And I was never at danger of not paying bills, but
Right.
it was also because I was paying $300.
Right.
If
I had
was
a strict budget. And if
Exactly.
I didn't follow that strict budget, what I did is once I got like all my loan money and my FAFSA money and paid off everything, I just put 6 months down at a time for my rent.
Damn.
I was like, get this out of my wallet because I don't want to
Don't
set
wanna
myself
risk
up.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So to be in jeopardy.
I think the first year I somewhat did that. But the idea of like giving like that whole entire lump sum and then them coming back being like, hey man, you didn't pay this month, and like that was what my stress was. So I was like, that first year I was like, I cut my I would always have cash with me. So like the only thing I was able to spend was the cash that I pulled out.
Yeah.
and I knew the number that I was allowed to pull out. But then it just, as I've said before on here, it got a little dicey when I was in the bartending and Ubering and all that, because then it was just like these weird levels of income and like
variables.
Yeah, like so I might come home with 200 today. I might come home with 50. Like I don't. It's hard to gauge. I gotta make 800 by the end of the month. All right.
Yeah. Like let's find it. Let's make it happen. I lucked out by getting that desk job. That desk job saved me. It was steady income. I got my work done at school. You know, did most of the desk responsibilities, and then
I mean, what were the desk responsibilities?
You know,
let's be honest.
They put us up on the second floor. We're supposed to make rounds and stuff, and I did. I like walked around, but like all the kids that are there at the middle of the night, they ain't doing anything. They're just nerds who want to practice, and I support that.
100%.
Go on, nerd.
Go on and practice. Go on and use that space to.
When it was my senior recital semester, I would just like straight up leave the desk and go to the recital hall and practice. Because it's like Saturday at midnight. No one's coming in.
Nobody's coming in.
No. They were all at the football game, or they're sleeping, or they're out on the square.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the only one here. Me and some other kids. But they were just down in the theory rooms working on theory stuff. So.
Yeah, man. It was. Oftentimes, I'll look back at college and just something as simple as that, like a game day.
Right.
Like, what was I doing?
Yeah, what were we all doing?
You know, like
you remember that one time where it was like a monsoon outside, and tailgate was canceled, but for whatever reason, Find Me Alpha was like, we're still having it.
We'll go. We'll be there. We'll be there.
And it was us and the Vegetarian Club.
Yep. And there was 4 of them.
There's 4 of them, and we're like, and I mean, it's a monsoon. Anthony Chenever, he had my umbrella, right? He went outside with the umbrella on to go to the porta potty, and the umbrella broke because it was so windy. It broke. And I looked at him, I'm like, bro, that's my umbrella. And he's like, oh, sorry. I'm like, never got a new umbrella back. I'm calling you out, Anthony. Just so
Get him an umbrella.
Give me an umbrella. I'll link this to him straight to this timestamp. I don't forget now. My umbrella. That was a good umbrella.
That was a good umbrella.
I found it.
That tailgate was a good time.
That was honestly a really cool tailgate because it was just us. It was like a brotherhood event.
It was a brotherhood event. It was brotherhood and friends.
But we were being idiots.
It's so
Once
dumb.
Again.
It was raining sideways,
Pneumonia.
mad cold, and Jason Kowalski's playing Christmas trap music.
Yeah, Christmas trap music, and then after that we did Bruno Mars's new album, the 24 Karat Gold.
That's right.
We just straight up listened to that album
The
from start
entire
to
day.
end,
Yeah.
and we were like, yeah, this is great.
And then I remember that event. I don't remember what happened afterwards. Like, did we go to the game? Did we just all disappear?
I think we went home. We were like, we're here because we allocated the money to make burgers. We're gonna make burgers and eat them.
We're gonna do the damn thing.
And then after that, we were like, but we ain't going to no game. Sorry, B&B. Like, that's y'all. That's y'all. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, that was.
We were the only fools out there. That parking lot is never empty on tailgate. It's never really full, but it's never empty.
Never empty. And we were straight up in the middle of it. Oh, 100% by ourselves. Shout out Vegetarian Club.
Vegetarian Club. Yep, you're a real one. We were like, hey, you want some burgers? They're like, we're vegetarian. We were like, oh.
Well, you want to come and kick it? Anyway?
Yeah, come over. We got a bigger tent.
Yeah, y'all got this sad ass little pop up.
We're like 25 yards away from each other too. It's not like we're next to each other. Like we're like, yo, vegetarians.
Oh man.
Is pork vegetarian? We don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
We got chips.
Yeah.
Can y'all eat chips?
Y'all eat chips? No, canola oil. Oh, all right, cool.
Well, we're playing music. And,
that was a good time, though. That was a good time.
There was a lot of good tailgates, man.
Dude, tailgates are. I didn't think I would like that. You know, coming from a community college, we don't have nothing.
Yeah.
Like, what is a tailgate there? We had a Halloween festival where like the community would come out and we had a game where we had an old tuba, banged up tuba, and it was just like, can you throw the ball inside the tuba? And kids would love that, man. And so, like, that was our biggest community event. And then when I got to Texas State, and I was like, tailgates, open house, what we doing?
Yeah.
And so it was a really cool culture shock for me to get me out of my shell and, like, do things like that. Because now I love them.
Yeah.
Like, but I definitely would not have done that otherwise.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Texas State and crazy PMA.
Yeah. I don't. There's a close alternate universe where I don't go to Texas State. Instead, I go to like UTRGV, and I think about that like
more tacos.
I don't know if I would have the same. I would have had the same like gumption to get into the School of Music.
That's fair.
I would have done the same like level of work.
Right.
Finished.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Finished.
It's.
But where does that lead you to, like... It's so wild how that outcome could diverge from this outcome.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't have... I definitely wouldn't have met as all the people I would have met. I wouldn't have marched all the places I marched, taught all the places I taught.
For sure.
Therefore, not putting me into, you know, like, I probably would still... Like, if I had finished and got a job, best case scenario would probably be teaching the ballet right now.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, but just like I don't think like I would have gone into that that circuit of Texas and just stayed there.
And that's the thing about Texas, like you have so many different circuits about music educators because we're just so big, and like when you go to TMEA and you're like District 1, like Region 1, like you're having your meeting over here and you like look over and you're like, I've never ever seen any of y'all, and it's just like
at all, or it's like. So and so from blah 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 Paris, Texas.
Yeah.
What?
Where's that?
Where's
is that on 35? If it's not, I don't know where it is. Like, if it's not on 35, I don't know. You know.
Are you somewhere? Is it between Floresville and Dallas?
Brownsville and Lubbock, somewhere in between.
Even down Brownsville, it gets a little dicey.
For sure.
Floresville to Brownsville,
it is interesting.
Like Floresville to Dallas is like what I knew. Mm-hmm. And then, so everything outside of that, just, whew.
And how big is your region? Like,
because
like ours is isolated within just our district because our district's so big. And then we have some in like San Marcos, New Braunfels, and then Canyon Lake, but that's it.
Ours is pretty spread out.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got, Temple, Belton. So Belton's right next door. And then Killeen, which is right next door.
Right next door, yeah.
And then we've got 30 minutes up to... we skip the south side of Waco, and we are... Midway is in our region.
Oh, Midway, wow.
Which is odd, yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the way to Bryan College Station. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's so weird. Well, Midway's not in our district anymore.
That's right. They bumped Midway out.
They're in Dallas. They're playing Duncanville.
Yeah, they're in Duncanville.
Okay, but that's really far from Midway,
but yeah,
too.
even then, yeah.
That's weird. Interesting. Because I always think about like these little small satellite towns, like off the major highways, and I'm like, I know like my sister lives out in Midland, and my nephew's going through the school system there.
Okay.
And I know like sometimes they'll travel 3 hours just to have their region competition.
Really?
And I'm like,
wow.
That is wild.
That's wild.
Like
Yeah.
that is so spread out, so discombobulated. You can't even have like a, what is a region meeting there before Zoom? Like you are really going out of your way. So
Well, that's what I feel about the homies in Bryan College Station, man.
yeah, it's true too.
Yeah,
Because they get the short end of the stick every single time because it's all of us are within 30 minutes of each other, and then they're 2 hours out, and it's like
true.
either we get the entire region to go there,
Mhm.
or you guys just suck it up and come here, and they have to.
They have to, yeah, because majority rules, right?
Yeah, and you know what sucks is like a lot of their programs are good, and so like if they do a region band or something like that, they have to get a hotel. They have to get because the clinic is Friday and then the concert's Saturday,
Right.
so they can't back and forth.
No, yeah.
That's dumb. So then they have to get a hotel. So then there's that added level of
Just planning everything.
planning and responsibility on the directors
For sure.
that
That isn't music.
that isn't music that like I don't have to do it like for the jazz part of stuff. We're the region, like the region chair is the head director at the high school.
Yeah.
So like we do it at Temple College.
Right.
We just tell the kids, hey, go to Temple College. We'll meet you there.
Be there at 7:45
Exactly.
in the morning and have you ride at 5.
Yeah.
Like,
And then it's like, hey, shut up. All right, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it's like, oh, you forgot your book?
Mm-hmm.
Go get it.
No, it's the same thing. So like during the summer when it's like TBA and TCDA, like if we were to have students from San Antonio do that, we would just say, hey, meet down by the convention center at this time. Like we're not getting hotels or anything. It's just take a 30-minute trip from the 1604 loop and down to downtown, and we'll be here with
You got it?
Yeah. It is very interesting how that all works, and I always feel for them because I'm like, money's scarce everywhere, especially in the school system. So that must like really to do those things, which are the things that the kids need and should want, but to make them happen costs even more money for these smaller towns.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's interesting, and there's something that I didn't consider as well. Now that I'm like being forced to consider since being out in Temple is like the football budget. For like not the football budget itself, but like the budget tied to the band program for the football.
Oh, for
like,
y'all to
production.
company
Yeah.
and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I mean, the football budget and bus budget. Like, those two are like, boom.
It's
like,
wild.
it is. It's an
It
endless
is
pit.
So wild. Yeah. The bus budget, and that, so like our first 2 games was to Cowboy Stadium
Nice.
and then to Magnolia, which
Right.
is
Waco?
East Houston.
East Houston. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
West Houston, whatever.
Houston.
Somewhere in the Houston. Above Katy, south of
Houston.
Sorry. yeah. But the first, like, both of those were supposed to be charter bus games because some part of the bus budget says like anything more than like an hour and a half or something like that
Has to be chartered.
has to be chartered. And then we stack Rona on top of that. They're like, okay, we got 10 buses total.
Yeah.
Because usually, it would take 5 buses to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
up there to like
Yeah.
in the normal circumstances. And no, I think it was 8, something like that. But we ended up having to like it was gonna be 4 and 4 to get the band there back, both times, no biggie. But then with Rona, we ended up taking like 7 to the Cowboy game
Just to space them out.
And then we took half the band to Magnolia, so it was only 2 buses. But just like then you think on top of that, because when Violet Crown was doing stuff to get to Ohio for indoor world championships, like I was then made aware of how much buses were, and like just thinking like how much a charter bus is to just be there. I think it's like $3,000, something like that for a bus.
Yes.
And then you have to pay the driver's hourly.
Right.
You got to pay for the gas, and then anything over 12 hours,
It's overtime? Or?
is another driver.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to pay for their housing if you do an overnight. And then if you're doing an overnight, you're paying, like, they're forever on the clock.
Mm.
So, like, if you take a 48-hour trip, they're getting paid 48 hours.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and it just like, you think about that and you're just like, okay, so this wasn't an overnight trip, but there were 7 buses.
Right.
So out the gate, 21 G's.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
One way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, just for the buses to show up at the high school.
Right.
21 grand.
21.
I don't know how much the gas is. I don't know how much the mileage is.
Not much.
And just like, it's like 60 grand to go to that Cowboys game.
Shh, don't tell your secrets. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, it is. It is.
It's wild.
It's a lot of money is funneled into it, and I mean, people love it in the state, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. They like their sports. It's just like, it's a lot of money when you
It's
think
a
about
lot
it.
of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's crazy because my girlfriend's family, they live in Illinois, and they come down, and it's all football down here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we don't get the whole football thing. They're all
Mhm.
like baseball and
Yeah.
For
soccer
sure.
up there.
For sure. Wow,
That is interesting to watch, to see the state sports, if you will. Like each individual state like has things that they're
Sure.
kind of tied to.
Start going to that New England East Coast stuff. It's all lacrosse.
Yeah. It's like, you played football, weenie. Lacrosse is the
Lacrosse.
sport. Yeah.
Rugby.
Yeah. Rugby,
Yeah,
hockey.
though, ooh. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or just like when I was down in Florida, like we didn't have a middle school football team, but we had men's volleyball.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was badass.
Save a lot of money, I'm sure.
Save a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of injuries too. Save a lot of injuries. Dang, that's pretty cool.
And it was like, it wasn't just like a like small circuit. It was like well established.
Interesting. That's really cool.
And yeah, that's school budget is weird.
Yeah. Yeah. If you ask someone like me, the priorities are a little shifted from what they should be.
Yes.
But, you know, I'm not in charge. So
Well, we are how we're like 20 minutes into this, and
Yeah.
you, the people that don't know who you
Oh,
are.
sorry. We just went on.
We got
This is
into
how
it.
we are.
Yeah,
This
man.
is literally how
We're
we
30 minutes in.
All right.
All right. Well, we're 30 minutes
all right,
in.
let me introduce myself.
Who are you? Where are you from? Where do you teach?
My name is Vincent Pena, and I am from Rockport, Texas, a little coastal town.
Shout out to Rockport.
Shout out to Rockport, you
You
beautiful,
often share some fun stuff.
often weird town. I have a lot of stories from Rockport. And I am a music educator. I'm a choir director. I teach at a middle school in San Antonio.
Yep.
And this is my 4th year teaching. So, yeah, it's, I don't know. What do you want me to, what else do you want?
Deepest darkest secret.
Deepest, darkest secret. All right. Here we go. You ain't ready for it.
All right.
When you eat a peanut butter and jelly, what utensil do you use to get out the peanut butter and jelly?
Knife.
Spoon. That's my deepest, darkest secret.
I respect that.
No, I don't respect it. Shame me. Shame me. Shame me. Shame me. It's not a good thing. That's more, I just like pile it on there. That's why I am the way I am. I actually realized it one time. I had my friend Ty over, and he was like, yo, you got peanut butter and jelly? I was like,
Come on now.
what are you talking about now? It's me you're talking to. Calm down. I'm the peanut butter and jelly king, all right? And so I get the bread out, I get my jelly, I get my peanut butter, and I get him a spoon. He looks at me. He's like, spoon? And I was like, no. I was like, oh God, so embarrassing. That's not my deepest, darkest secret, but that's one of them.
Well,
for
here's
sure.
an important follow up to that. Grape or strawberry?
Grape, not even.
What?
Yeah, no, I don't. So you know, to be fair, I haven't tried strawberry jelly in a long time.
Okay.
Jelly or jam?
Is it store bought or farmer's market?
Ooh, I mean, if it's farmer's market, always farmer's market. We're talking store bought.
Okay. Probably jelly.
Probably jelly. That's the same way I feel too.
Yeah.
But I do like me a good jam.
Dude,
Homemade is so
a
good.
good farmer's market jam. Oh.
Now I have heard a secret about through my peanut butter and jelly forums that I. No, I'm just kidding.
Deep in the Reddits.
Yeah, deep in the Reddit. How can I make this better? Apricot jelly apparently is apparently pretty good, and I've never tried it personally. Just because I look at it and I'm like, I'm gonna stay with grape. But apparently, there's a secret to it.
A lot of the food shows.
They like apricots.
Like apricot. Like, how dare you even bring up grape or strawberry?
Grape.
Like, you heathen.
Grape is for wine only. There's nothing else.
But yeah, like all the years of me watching food shows, I've only ever heard of apricot jelly.
Yeah.
Apricot, whatever.
I don't know. Who knows what
English is made
syllables,
up.
you know.
Garbage.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a garbage language that doesn't make any sense.
It's awful. It is so awful. Try teaching kids how to sing in it. I got kids like and I make fun of them too. I'm like, don't be texting on me. Don't be texting me. Shout out Texans. I'm Texan too. Calm down. But don't be texting on me. They're like, wonder, and I'm like, no. You can't sing like that.
Come on now.
And they're like, what you mean? And I'm like, no, see what you just did? Whatcha is not a word.
That ain't a word, dog.
Now it's a word when you're with your friends, but when we're singing, we gotta speak some actual English. So
some proper.
Proper, yes. I always tell them to stick their pinky out, get a little tea and crumpets. Hello, and get lifted sounds. You know, it works surprisingly well.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Cool. But yeah, peanut butter and jelly. That's
Have you ever had a fried peanut butter and jelly? You seem like a garbage person like me.
Yeah. So I've never made one of my own, and I don't think I want to. I want to get that out of the way.
I don't want you to.
No, I don't.
think
I don't
you
want
ever
to.
should.
I don't think. But I was at a carnival one time.
It's where the only place you should get it.
Exactly. But I was disappointed because I thought
Really?
it was gonna be like a fried corn dog. You know, and get the like they have their own batter that they dip it in
Yeah.
and they fry it. Nah, they just got a Smucker's. Like, it's not a homemade peanut butter and jelly. It was the prepackaged.
Yeah, it was the
Smucker's.
Uncrustables.
No. We have to have ourselves a higher standard. If you're gonna sell me a product, I want it to be genuine. Sorry, I didn't even know I had that in me.
Ooh, that was
No.
that was genuine.
It's
dog.
all the food shows I've watched during quarantine. I'm like, you gotta put meticulously, like, think about every little product you put in there.
I know. I mean, I understand.
But not at state fairs.
I
We
get you.
deserve better.
I get you. I mean, do you? You're at a state fair.
It's true. No, it was cool. The one we went to, it was right. So Felicity's my fiance. She was like, shout out me and shout out Felicity.
Gang.
Checked. She's gonna get so mad.
Did the one job.
Yeah. Woo.
Nailed it. And stuck it in fairly, like, unforced.
Yeah.
done.
We just gloat about the unforcedness. Yeah. So we live right behind. This is maybe two. I'm gonna get somebody knocking on my door or something. Yeah, exactly.
And plus you're in an apartment, so whatever.
Well, we live behind a horse track.
Well.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I was like, there's only 2 of those in San Antonio. You really got a 50-50 shot which one you want to get.
Oh, okay.
So we live behind a horse track, and I was like, why is there a horse track here? But apparently it's like been a staple.
Yeah.
I actually saw on our San Antonio a map of San Antonio from like the 70s, and this horse track was on that map.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually one of the only things there. 2 things from that map: horse track, and then the cops from Selma area. They've been known for 40-50 years to be like, you're speeding?
Yeah.
Ticket.
Yeah.
and it's just so funny because that is still their reputation today.
Yeah.
And they have gotten me on a speeding ticket.
I'm knock on wood.
Yeah.
Grateful.
Nothing?
Nothing.
I got like 2 or 3 now.
For real?
But always defensive driving, you know?
You gotta take care of it.
I just fall. Anyways, we're not going to get into my speeding problems. We'll swing back to that. Bring it back on the marquee. So we live behind this racetrack, and I've always wanted to go, but on the website, they don't have a calendar of events. I think you have to be like a member to get their calendar of events. They don't want people showing up. But like, so whenever the Triple Crown races are going on, you can go there and you can bet live.
Really?
And they have a watch party and stuff. But then sometimes they race like ostriches. I want to know when an ostrich race is.
Are you serious?
Yes, dude. Get my little derby hat on.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I thought I the entire time I lived in San Antonio, I thought that was a dog track.
I think they do dog races there
Okay.
too, but it's just a track. Like, they're just running animals.
Damn.
But anyways, we live right behind that, and man, I totally lost where we were going because I got talking about ostriches.
What were we talking about? We were talking about.
Sorry, it just stacks out. Some apartments.
Were you
Anyways.
talking about food before that? Fried food?
Food. Oh, yes, we're back. All right, brain blast, Jimmy Neutron. Sorry, man, you brought me on the show. So.
This is what I'm looking for.
Okay, cool. So, like I said, this racetrack is pretty much empty.
Mm-hmm.
So what they'll do is they'll rent it out for these big festivals, and so they had a crawfish festival there.
Oh Jesus!
And so you buy like 5 pounds of crawfish for like $15, $20, and then they had like a full carnival ride and all that stuff. It was good, but I was like, this is like I could walk from my apartment to this event, and I'm like, I'm probably the only place I'll ever live where I'm like walking distance in between a fair, like in my apartment. So it was pretty cool. It's they do stuff like that. They were planning on doing another one this year, but then of course the Rones.
It's been well established on the show that me and Evan have personally felt victimized.
Victimized. I was about to say, is he going to say victimized? I was hoping you would.
Purely based on the stealing of the crawfish season.
Yes, absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
Amongst all the other terrible things that has happened from Rona.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I got my UIL taken away from me. I got indoor drumline taken away from me.
That's a lot.
Both accounts.
It's a lot.
Year 2 of teaching taken away from me.
That's and possibly year 3
and
too.
Year 3
somewhat, right?
We're still. It's like we're best case scenario. We finish this year out, and I'm like 2.5 years done.
Yeah.
Down of teaching.
Yeah.
But we were just about to start crawfish season.
Dude, I mean, you're talking to a coast guy. Like, I love seafood. Like, every time I go home, my dad makes a new boil. And, dude, it's just so good. I mean, good seafood. I feel like
seafood is good.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's so conversational, too. Usually, if you're eating seafood together with a group, usually it's conversational. You're talking, you're having a good time. It's not just a quiet dinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some things just shout quiet dinner. And seafood is like,
Seafood is
get in there, get your hands dirty, let's have some fun.
Especially the staple of the proper boil, like with the homies. Dude, not like you go to buy it where you get the bag, 5 pounds, and then you go take it to your plate. But like here's this 10-foot table. I don't know where it came from. Yeah. But there's this 10-foot table. And we bought the entire newspaper stand out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And here's this mountain of food.
Yeah.
And the good thing about seafood too is you have to take your time to eat it.
Yeah.
Like, you got to work for it.
You got to work for it a little bit.
And you're cracking over these crawfish. The crawfish could be like this big, like 3 inches big, but then you only get like 1 inch of meat.
Nope.
And you guys do that over and over and over again. It's just it's fun. It's engaging. I remember they did a couple in San Marcos, and we went to those in San Marcos. Those were good.
Louis holds it down.
Look, I just can't go to an establishment though. Like
I get it, I understand, but as
someone,
as a former employee of there, but then also just a connoisseur of quality, boils. Hank knows what he's doing
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. There's a place in Rockport that I do not like. But it's famous. It's famous. Like, it's called the Boiling Pot.
Okay.
They used to have a location in Rockport, and they still do. But they used to have one in Austin, and I'm not sure if they still do. But it was like Austin and Rockport. That was the 2 locations.
I've heard of that before. There might be one in Austin still.
Is there? Just buy yourself. Get a big old. If you like boils that amount that you're gonna drop for 4 people, you're probably gonna drop like at least $120. If you're just getting the bare necessities, we're talking shrimp, sausage, maybe a little bit of stone crab claw, If you're going to drop that, just go ahead and buy yourself like a 15-gallon pot.
A little pot. Get you a gas burner.
Get you a gas burner or put it on the stove and just let it go.
Yeah.
Like, drop that thing in, buy that Old Bay seasoning or the Tony's, and just make it yourself. It's worth it. I think it's worth it to make it yourself and host something when we're out of Rona time.
When it is.
But talking to somebody who's been having boils since like I was 8 years old, so it's and
I mean it's an event, man.
For sure.
And it's the closest thing, like not the closest thing, but I mean you have like your Mexican barbecues.
For sure.
You got your black barbecues. And then you got like, the coastal boil folk.
Dude.
Like I feel like that just like that level of community where it's like for the boils you have this long table of food and you can either sit down or just every now and then come up, just like crack a couple, throw them back and then go back to drinking your beer. Or like the Mexican grills where it's like grandpa has been cooking up just 50 pounds of meat.
Everything.
And and then mom and dad are like, mom's over there like, here's your beans, here's your rice.
Pressing tortillas like fresh
Then
off.
and then like dad's like, and here's a rib, and here's a
Animal
chicken
jello.
leg, and here's a chicken leg, and piece of sausage.
Yeah.
Next.
I know. No, that's actually I'm looking forward to that. Whenever I buy a house, to just like have asada nights or oil nights. Like, I mean, we talk all the time about how we both enjoy cooking.
I'm really disappointed we have never cooked together.
You know, I don't know. I've never really, as far as cooking with people, I never really done it. Like, it's always been like just me in the kitchen hamming it up.
Not even necessarily like a together thing, but just like
an event?
where there was an event, like even like a damn like Friendsgiving, since it's Thanksgiving season, where it's like I'll make these things, you make those things, homie's gonna make a couple sides over there, we'll come together. Like, not even that. Like, it's just been, and even with Anthony too. I don't think I've ever
never been in that orbit.
Yeah.
I think it would happen, but then like I always went home for the summers and always went home for the holidays, so I was never in San Marcos.
Yeah.
And then, but we should definitely do it. We should like
100%.
I would definitely be down. Like I said, like whenever I buy a house, like I want to, like that is one of the first things once I get the patio set up and outside set up, just to have like a big, like once a month, just have a thing where we can kick back and meet up. I mean, because like we said at the very beginning of it, like we're so spread out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, I'm sure you're more busy than me with your schedule with work, but like even for my schedule with work, I'm like, I gotta plan things out months in advance.
Yeah.
Just to get a cup of coffee or like, or
sit down with somebody.
Yeah. I mean, we've been working on this.
Yeah, dude. Like I told you about this. Like you were one of the first people I told about when I started it.
Yeah.
I was like, eventually I want to have you up, and then I invited you on. I think like 3 weeks ago, and then you're like, I couldn't make it out, and then the next week, and you're like, I can do the 22nd.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, okay, I don't have anybody scheduled. And then it's just like 2 weeks later, like,
here we are.
You still good? Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
It's
weird.
It's
it's weird the lack of availability that we have.
Sure. I think sometimes we have to put our personal availability first too. Just like you have to listen to yourself, especially with this job. Like, do I need a recovery day of just where I'm just like chilling?
Yeah.
And I feel for y'all because I be getting off at 4:00 on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
I got my next week prepped. I've got all my emails sent out. I can close that laptop until it's like Sunday when I'm starting to work on stuff again. But with y'all, I mean, y'all are traveling. You got your football games. You got all this extra outside. I feel for y'all. I do.
It's
tough.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's a passion project, but I don't think that's the correct term for it. It's just like, we talked about it here too, man. It's just like I was so used to it.
Right.
I was just so used to this level of grinding.
Right.
From an early age in college, where
sure.
just like going to do your 18 hours of classwork and then go working your regular job, and then on the weekends I'm going to go teach somewhere, and just like constantly going, and then like it bled right into my first 2 years of teaching, and then halfway through that second year it gets shut down, and you're just like then you just realize like how damn tired you've been for the past 5 years. And
you ever watch Major Payne?
Yeah. Classic.
That beginning scene when they just kicked him out of the military and he's starting to lose it, getting twitchy. That's all I felt like every educator was getting.
Yeah. What?
What?
Yeah, dude, it was that top of quarantine was so.
It was unnerving.
Sobering, unnerving, confusing.
Yeah.
I remember when it first happened. I think within like 3 hours, like I remember what was it? I think they just added the second week.
Yes. So spring break.
Spring break had happened.
Another delay.
And they were just like, yeah, so we're going to take a week.
Just figure stuff out.
And I remember, like, we woke up and we were talking, and I was like, bro, it's not a big deal. I think we're going to come back. It's going to be fine. And then Jay was like, nah, dog, you're wrong. I was like, Jay, shut up. You're being...
Well, I was with Jay. I was totally with him. Like, okay, so, like, I think we actually just passed the year anniversary of, like, the first COVID case.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, I didn't start hearing about it until Jay was before me, and then I started looking at it. But, like, once I saw, I think I saw it first on CNN, like, the video of their reporter in Wuhan getting out. And once I saw that, and I was like, oh. I was like, because they tried to cover up SARS for so long. Mm-hmm. And I was like, if they're not covering this up, and they're literally telling people to get out, we're in trouble. And I didn't think it would shut us down the way it did. But it was... Well, I kept on telling my coworkers about it. I was like, yo, this is asymptomatic. There's a 14-day delay. We got no test. We got no safety protocols. We're done. And they were like, what are you talking about? What's coronavirus? And I was like, look it up. It's coming. And I remember sitting there before spring break. I had this little app on my phone, and it was like a user developed. It wasn't like a national outlet or anything like that. And it was just a COVID tracker. And I was like, that was like when Seattle was breaking out and New York was breaking out. And I was looking, I was like 94,000 worldwide cases. And it's weird to think, first week of March, we were 94,000 worldwide cases. And now we're like, however many cases, we're topping, we topped 194,000 in one day.
Yeah.
Here in America alone.
Just in America, yeah.
So... Really, really wild what we're living in and what we're going through, and this whole break or this whole like quarantine, I've definitely been focused on like mental health and just like trying to get through, working through whatever you can personally, because I'm like, if you can face this and cope with this, then I think you'll learn the skills to face anything, because this is definitely offsetting. I don't know if we'll ever face. Hopefully we don't.
Fingers crossed.
But like if this is like dystopian almost what we're in, with like shelter in place, and
it's just so unimaginable.
Yeah.
Like going into it.
It's like a movie, basically.
Yeah. Just like nobody ever thought that everything could be shut down and go to shit so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we weren't ready for it. And
not at all.
And I think it makes a lot of people realize how fast they do go.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me, like, I always try to check in and be like, you need this amount of time just to yourself to recover, you know? But I think for a lot of people, like, they didn't realize that they weren't giving themselves any time. Yeah. And it kind of forces you to step back and, whoa, I need more me time, Yeah. Find my center. But that's what I've been on since...
But that brings up another thing that I did want to talk to you about.
Sure.
Which is that mental health thing. I mean, we've had, like we were saying at the beginning, a couple times on the Fortnite chat, we would just talk about mental...
Donde Jason? Donde Jason?
Hope he's good.
Yason.
I check in with him every now and then, just like, hey, you alive? He says yes.
Yeah, I invited him to my wedding, and he was like, dude, awesome. And I was like, okay, Jason. I mean, I'm sure you're okay.
I think he's coming.
Yeah, I think he's coming. I think he's alive, guys. I think,
whatever. Before we get into the mental health thing, when's your wedding again?
June 26th.
June 26th. Okay.
Trying to keep track. Another check right there. Got another check. Second check of the day. Let's go for a hat trick. You know.
Got one more.
Got one more.
Plug in. We'll wait. But the mental health side of things.
Yeah.
You speak about it as openly as
yeah, I'm pretty open about it.
A lot of people.
I don't think it's something we should shy away from.
I agree, and the the longer we've gone through, the more I have come to terms with my own mental health issues, and and how to go about it. But you are one of the few people I know that has actually gone and been to like in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask you, how long did it take you to be okay with that? And were you ever like, well, actually, I guess the bigger question is, were you ever struggled with that Mexican Latino male machismo issue, like that like interpersonal,
the vulnerability,
of like allowing yourself to like accepting that like that there is an issue with mental health and then be like, hey, I should probably go get help with this.
So, well, I never really thought I had an issue with mental health until right after college. And there's a lot of things in upheaval right after college. When I got my first job, I was really super excited for that. And then things just kind of fell. Like my first 2 weeks teaching, I was like homeless. Like I didn't have an apartment because our apartment was supposed to be ready on August 10th. And we didn't move in until September 10th.
Jesus.
And they were just like pushing the date back. And I was like, whoa. And so I was couch surfing for a while.
Jeez.
Okay. And then my truck that I used all through college, all through high school, just kaput. It was a multiple litany of issues. It was...
I remember that truck.
Yeah, I love that truck, man. I would lock my keys in that truck all the time, but then I could jimmy the door open. I had this little metal bar in the back. I was like, I don't even remember about my keys. I got this bar. And then, the truck leaves, and I realized that's only with, like, 04 trucks before.
Yeah.
Probably for that same reason.
Probably.
Nobody could jimmy the bar.
Yeah. Good things, bad things.
So truck broke down. And then, actually, the day before I was supposed to start teaching my first time in the classroom by myself, that's when Hurricane Harvey hit.
That's right.
And it made landfall on Rockport itself. And I remember that night, like, I was just, thankfully I convinced my parents. My parents were going to try and write it out if it stayed a Cat 2. And I was like, no, dudes, get away. Like, take what you can and get out. Like, don't try to play, Tom Hanks' Castaways. Like, there's no need. Just drive away. You've got a big old truck.
Just leave.
Put it in there. And so they did eventually. And then, it made landfall as a Cat 4. And that was heavy. I don't think I was necessarily ready for the heaviness of it. Especially when you see your hometown.
Yeah.
Because
Rockport got hit pretty rough.
The eye went over it.
Yeah.
Like, it was the landing zone. And so, the mayor of Fulton, because it's Rockport Fulton, they're like kind of like Temple Belton, but even smaller towns. Like they're just like butt to butt. And the mayor of Fulton went on the news and was like, if you are planning to stay, you need to write your name, your birth date, and your social security number on your forearm. Like, we need ways to identify the bodies. Like, that's what they were telling the public. And I have all this stuff going on in my head, and then I'm, like, super, like, watching all the news, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I don't know if my hometown is going to be destroyed. I don't know if my home, like, my childhood home is going to be there. And so they give us the next day off, thankfully, because I don't know how I would have done it.
Yeah.
If they San Marcos didn't give us that next day off. And then I go in and I start realizing, like, the program that was left there was a shambles. Like I had kids telling me, hey, why aren't we doing yoga? And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh yeah, we would do yoga. And then I had another kid, a parent, tell me that they didn't start singing until the 6th week of school, and they were on block schedule before the year I got there.
What?
Yeah. And so, like, I'm picking up shambles. and with all that, with, like, my parents going back to Rockport, seeing all these things, like, a third of the businesses in Rockport were shuttered. Either the building was completely demolished from the hurricane, too much damage, flood damage and stuff like that, or they just decided not to come back. They just decided to retire and, say...
Cut the ties.
Yeah, cut the ties. And so lots of upheaval with that stuff. And I think I was powering through it because that's all I knew how to do.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, you just get your work done. You just do it. Like, you just do what you have to do. And that's what I was doing. So that whole first year, I'm just going. And then I get that first summer, and I start realizing once I have time to decompress, like all these things that I've been holding on to kind of like sunk in. And so it wasn't until my second year teaching in the winter, that's when I went to therapy. And I reached out to a therapist, and we just started talking. And, at first I was really hard. Like, I was just really stonewalling, wasn't really open to the process. And even my therapist was like, I mean, you don't seem like an angry guy, but it's almost like you're angry to not open yourself. And I was like, huh. And so I kind of took a step back, reassessed like why I was trying to do this. And then eventually I got to a point where, I can actually open up. I can talk about my feelings. I can talk about my doubts, my worries. I can make self-realizations. And that's the step that I'm at right now. I went to therapy for about 1.5 years. I just recently got off antidepressants. I was on them for about 8 months. 8 months, yeah. And we're trying to see like where I am without them.
Don't know if this is the best time to
it's one of those things. It's like you work through this. I had all of quarantine to like self-assess and self-realize.
Yeah.
And so it's a bit of a mixed bag. I know that if I need to go back on, I can go back on.
Yeah.
But I know that if I can weather the storm, especially in this high, then I can make it through it when it's normal. When I have other stuff come up.
Yeah.
But that's all, again, that's a self-assessment. That's like where am I in my personal journey? And that's how I like to think of it.
Gotcha.
When you hold yourself to other standards, I'm supposed to be a machismo man. There's not anything wrong ever that's supposed to be with me. I'm perfect. When you hold yourself to those standards, that's when you start pigeonholing yourself into just a side of the room that sometimes can turn negative. Some people are awesome with that mentality. I think we just need to be more reflective and ask ourselves, hey, could I be better, and could I get better through this process?
Yeah.
And I think I have. I think I'm much more happy with my day-to-day.
Yeah.
I'm definitely finding myself again as far as like who I want to be and who I'm going to become. And then I think it's good to use our resources. Like, as an educator, my copay is $25 for in service or in network. In network therapist, And so how can I say no to that? Even if I'm going 4 times a month,
that's not bad.
That's only $100.
Yeah.
If I go once every other week, that's $50. If I go once a month, that's $25. That's nothing out of my budget. And I know that's almost like coming from a place of privilege. I know there's tons of people who would love to do that. They don't have the means. And I feel for that. In my case, I have the means, and I think it's something I should invest in. Because when you invest in yourself, you're really making good with your money.
I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said at the beginning, that machismo, that I don't need help from anybody on the outside, that lack of vulnerability really stymied my first 3 months in therapy. And then after that, I got to a point where I broke down, and I was like, whoa, this is better. Stop fighting this process and just actually listen and come open. And I think that's a lot of big things. Now, I will say that the time with my first therapist ran its course. Gotcha. I got what I needed from that first therapist, and then we actually started becoming a little bit of a friendship between me and him, and we would talk about current events and stuff like that. And that's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what therapy is for. It's not for a friend, and it's for
work.
A work. Yeah, you got to put the work in, and if you're willing to put the work in, I think you'll see dividends on the outside.
All right, Don, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I've said it on here multiple times. I'm well aware that I should probably go see a therapist, but then I can't just. There's still that barrier of hey man, just make the goddamn call.
Yeah, I think the first step of that is like figuring out why the barrier is there, because the barrier is there.
Yeah.
It doesn't do us any usefulness to actually contemplate what if it's there.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's a reality. But then you have to think why. What is two things? Why is it there? What has led me to this point in my life where there is this barrier of making that call, and then why don't I overcome that barrier? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm not trying to get you that. But those are the things I've learned.
No, I get it.
If there's just, I'm trying to think of a thing that I self-realized. Oh, I realized that like as a teacher, I was kind of worried to make calls home. I would get hesitant.
Yeah.
And I never even realized that I was hesitant. But then I started going to therapy and I was like, whoa, why am I getting so anxious about calling little Johnny's mom?
Yeah.
To tell her that he needs to do better, Yeah. And it was a self-realization that like I got in trouble whenever my dad called mom, like my teachers. And so like I carry that, and rightfully so. I was a twerp.
Yeah.
Like I needed some direction. Okay.
Yeah.
But whenever he called, then I would get in trouble. Or whenever a teacher called him, he would get in trouble. But I can't. Him doing that for me is good, and me doing this for the kids is good. They don't have to be in conflict. They're just in separate entities. But I didn't like realize that until the past year.
That's weird.
Yeah. You don't realize the little. It's not even. I don't know if I would describe them as trauma, because like they are traumatic, but it's not the reason why you do it. I almost think that they're ingrained, like. Yeah, like your subconscious holds onto this as a fact of life, and then you just kind of go about your life with that already thought about.
Like attached to it.
Yeah. And so we have to break those barriers and think about like how, if you want that barrier there and you accept that part of your life, cool. I think that's your personal choice. But for me, I know that's making my job harder when I am anxious.
No, I acknowledge it's making my job harder. It's making my life harder. I'm fully self-aware.
Yeah.
That it is.
Then you just got to take that leap.
Yeah, it's
a leap of faith. At the end of the day, it's not like you're walking over coals.
Yeah.
The worst thing that you can get out of it is just be like, oh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Which is not, if that's your biggest pitfall, who cares?
I've spent more money on worse things, so.
Exactly. Exactly. Video games, movies, food, whatever it may be.
Poor choices,
right?
Yeah.
And then I think to myself, like, let's reinvest this into me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting how it works.
And that too, that little part of it too, like investing in yourself is a weird.
It is
really weird.
You almost feel selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you almost feel like, but I'm in this better position than so and so and such, and how can I waste my money not like, quote unquote, not on something tangible.
Yeah.
But on something like that is going to affect purely me.
Yeah.
So I get that part too of it, but it's kind of like the square peg into a round hole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to change the square peg and you're not going to change the round hole, but like, you can be better. You can be like, you can go from a wooden square peg into like a steel square peg, and then you still got to find the square hole for you, right?
Yeah.
But you're sturdier, you're stronger, you're better material because of it. That was such a weird analogy.
It's a weird analogy, but I like
it. But it worked, right?
I like it. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Check 3.
Strong analogy.
Woo. Got it. Gonna work on my metaphor next time.
I am obnoxious with metaphors on here. Well, in general, in like that's just a really big part of like my education.
Yeah.
I don't want to say background, like just how I equate stuff.
Right.
Just like I run things through metaphors because a lot of things with music is all so ambiguous.
For sure.
And so it's just like, how can I put this into terms that make sense and are feasible? Like I talk, the amount of times I talk about sports in band is I should be a coach.
I should. I do too. No, it's because you that's your whole. You're kind of like a circus leader when you're a teacher, especially with music.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're trying to get them to make sounds when you want and the right sounds.
Yeah.
Not the lazy sounds, you know? And it's just like, you got to make it fun. You got to make it interesting. You got to be a little wacky. And that's
I'm bad at making things fun.
You say that, but also I know that's not true. You're fun in your own way. Now, it might not be everybody's fun. I will say that. But you're like very spirited about the things that you are open-spirited about.
That's fair.
So
that's fair. I am.
Don't dig at yourself. Mental health. Yeah.
Well, get former student of mine.
Oh yeah.
New guy Chris. So
Cool.
I mean, actually, I don't think I've ever asked you like what. I don't know if I want to ask you this.
I'm about to say, I was like, you're taking a risk on a podcast.
Whatever. What question am I trying to ask here?
What did you think about me?
Yeah, what did you think about me as an educator?
I thought you were cool.
See? Boom.
Yeah.
Take it as it is.
But I had almost like the same hustle mentality when it came to band like you do. A lot of other kids didn't.
And that's
the thing.
That's where
that's
you
the truth.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that's why a lot of times I say I'm a coach teaching band is because like the mindset I have is very much in the realm of like having a depth chart of like, oh, you don't want to put in the work, you can bench yourself then and homie can fill your spot. Yeah,
absolutely.
But I just in the world of music you don't have that as readily accessible.
Right, because we are of the y'all come variety.
Yeah.
Like you show up, I'm gonna work with you.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily that in other places.
Yeah.
And so I get that mentality. But it's kind of like I view teaching as not actually teaching. I'm going to teach my kids choir music. I'm going to teach them how to be a better choir member. But I'm trying to instill in them to have a standard of work. To have a standard. Even when you're not ready, even when you're not feeling good, even when you're not up for the challenge. Let's talk about that. Let's accept that feeling, but then let's get back to work and fight through that. Mm-hmm. Because that is like what I wished I had, growing up. Mm-hmm. Like more of absolutely. That. Like let's feel what we feel, but we still gotta move on. Because I think that gives a better, like diversity of who a person is.
I had this conversation with the percussion section towards the tail end of summer band last year. And it was at the end of rehearsal, and I was like, and as I was saying it, I realized it was not coming across the way I wanted it to come across. Mm-hmm. But like at the end of rehearsal, I was like, yo, I don't care about what's going on in your life right now. When you're here, you have a job to do. And like that's what I left it on. But then I circled back around the next day. I was like, hey, so who like be honest with me, who thinks I'm being like a hard ass, like what I said to y'all yesterday, who thinks I'm a hard ass, like, and I don't care, and like everybody like kind of raised their hand. Like, yeah, no, that was a shitty thing to say to you, but let me explain what I meant by it.
Right.
Outside of rehearsal, I am your biggest fan.
Yeah.
I will ride for you forever and always.
Absolutely.
So, like, if you need a ride to work, if you need gas money, if you need food, if you need blah, blah, I got you.
Right.
But when rehearsal starts at 7 a.m., I don't give a damn what's going on at home. I don't care that your car broke down. I don't, like, this is your job. At 7:55 when rehearsal's over, I'll go push your car for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, like, when we're here, this is what you're supposed to do.
When we're in work mode, engage.
Yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. So like, if you do that, I will then do anything you need.
Yeah.
For you. But this is the flip side of that is I need you to do X, Y, and Z while you're here.
See, that is my mentality. But since I'm in middle school, I've had to restructure that mentality.
Yeah.
And that's like been my biggest disconnect between middle schoolers and high schoolers. Because high schoolers get that.
Yeah.
Middle schoolers still don't know how to breathe. So like, and you think I'm joking, but it's true, man. Like I'm looking at them, I'm like, are you cognitively breathing right now? Like, are you? And then they're like, And I'm like, what? So totally 100% with you, you know. And of course, if you have that kid that's obviously breaking down, you know, you're not gonna like ignore that kid, but you're gonna be like, yo, take a breather. Yeah. Take a second. Yeah, take a second. Gather yourself. At the end, let's crush it out. Let's talk it out. You know. Yeah.
I remember my first year. This girl was so stressed because it was for indoor. And rehearsal, I had to be 6 to 8 because that was when the gyms were available. Yeah. And she was so stressed because, like, nobody had a car. Her dad had to get called up to, like, go and, like, he got, like, called into work, basically. And she was, like, freaking out because she never brought her home. I was like, get in the car.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Like, and she was, like, stressed the entire time during rehearsal. And then, like, she was, like, crying at the end of it. For like, sure. Coming up to me, and like I was just like, oh, that's why you're shut. Like,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Well, we would have figured it out anyways.
No, I was like,
for sure.
Take you home. Just get in the car. Shut up. Like, let's go. Like that's why you're having a rough rehearsal. It's because you didn't think you had a ride. Like,
let's go.
Like, let's go. And then she was just like, oh, that's it. I was like, yeah.
That's why make it more than that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then. That happened a couple other times, and she was like real chill, and she's like, yo, nobody's coming to pick me up. I was like, word, I got you.
Gotcha. That's it. It's simple, but those little things matter.
Yeah, man. So. And this is the issue I have with the kids I teach often is they are so
You know that what's that
Morse
called?
Code.
Yeah, telegraph. What is that called? Oh, my brain.
Here we started the freaking video. It's fine.
It's all good. What is that called?
Telegraph. Telephone.
Is it telegraph?
Telephone. What is that? No, not telephone. Telephone would be a telephone. What am I thinking about? The Morse code.
What's the Morse code machine? Can you look up the Morse code machine?
How do we are too smart to not know this. I feel like
I'm a different kind of smart man.
I'm a different kind. I kind of like that beat though.
Is this freaking credit union crap?
Put it, if you put it on Do Not Disturb.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. I keep getting calls from random numbers throughout the United States, and it's always the same thing.
That's what happens when you try to find credit cards, bud. They find
cards.
you.
Credit cards are evil. Credit cards, man. Let's talk about credit cards. No, I'm just kidding. I will get into it.
But the issue that I have with a lot of kids is that they don't get that level. They just see the service
Telegraph
level.
number.
Yeah, it is a telegraph. Yeah.
Telegraph.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
Attaboy.
All right.
Is they don't get that like. They don't understand how I am able to disconnect from, like, day-to-day life and whatever task at hand.
Yeah, the matter. Yeah, for sure. I think.
I feel like a lot of the other kids struggle with that.
Yeah.
I feel like I did pretty good at that. There was a few times where, like, if something heavy was going on, it kind of affected me, but.
Yeah, and I mean, I as much as I like to say that I am blank-faced emotions, like when a lot of time everything was falling apart in my life, I just like did my best to make it still a good rehearsal.
Yep.
Right? Like, and I know damn well that you guys picked up on that a lot of times, like especially the first year when I was 100% by myself, just like the amount of flusteredness I had, like
just surviving,
yeah. Just like having to the rehearsal before the rehearsal week before Houston, like that Monday was a mediocre rehearsal. Wednesday I went to go to San Antonio with Evan to get the floor. My car got broken into. I was up until 2-3 in the morning dealing with that, and then having to deal with the allegations the next day, and then losing the entire school day of rehearsal, and then I had that evening rehearsal. I'm just like, we're going to Houston on Saturday, man.
Let's go.
What do you... come on now. Can we act like we want to try a little bit?
I know it.
And it's a hard thing to do, and it doesn't come easy to people. Like, even people in our age, they're getting to expect that from 14-year-olds. It's a lot, but nonetheless, like, I feel like people that figure it out are better for it.
For sure.
In the long run. And, if I bite the bullet and you think I'm a dick for 4 years, and then 5 years down the road you figure it out, and you're just like, damn, should have listened to him. Like, hey, man, at least you found your way eventually.
I think as long as your expectations are clear, no one can call you on it. Because, like, if you lay your ground rules, you lay what you want, and you hold them to that standard, then nothing surprises.
Yeah.
Like, it's you've got to... Now, things will try to mess with that standard. Things will try to sway that standard, whether it's internal or external. But, like, your job as the instructor, as the teacher, not just for music, but in anything, is to hold that standard.
Yeah.
Hold that line. And I've actually explained it to a couple middle school kids who just want to come in and do what they want to do, and, like, on the edge of, like, a class clown. And I kind of sit them down. I'm like, look, this is my standard. You're trying to push into my standard to make it your own.
Yeah.
That's great. Except it's not. and I was like, I want you to be you, but in this classroom, you work with me, not against me.
Yeah.
And then usually that kind of solves it once they realize that they're going out of bounds.
Yeah.
And I make it very clear to them, like, this is your warning. You go past this boundary and you do it on purpose, then that's on you.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be on you. I can tell when it's an accident, when you're having a bad day, when you're just not thinking.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're choosing to make these choices, they have repercussions.
Yeah.
So, but then I asked them if they're breathing. So, like, are you breathing? And they're like, yeah, I get it. So, it's...
Dude, the psychology of education is
man.
Bananas.
For sure. Everything with education is funny. You just gotta laugh at it.
It doesn't make any sense, and
it's
wild that as educators we put. It's one of the only jobs. I was talking to him about it as we were going to IKEA yesterday. That this is one of the only jobs where you could do a great job, and it still be a garbage product.
For sure.
At contest.
What?
Because they could just fall apart because they're 12 years old, and and they forget that they're singing in German.
Yeah.
Or what?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Like, you prep them, they do great, and then you still got to remember that some of them, like, this is their first time ever singing on a stage in a formal attire in front of judges, and either it's a fight or flight.
Yeah.
Even at that young age. Even they fight through that anxiety and that pressure, and they perform, and they do what they know. And I think a lot of it is, like, and we talked about this with mixed martial arts fighting, like, those guys are so good, but even in those pressure tense moments, they always default to their lowest.
Yeah, the lowest common denominator.
Right.
The lowest setting of who they are.
And when kids perform music, it's the same thing. You're not most of the time, you're not going to perform up to your ceiling. You're actually going to perform to your floor.
Yeah.
And it's our job to raise their floor constantly. Little things that just make it go bump, 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 bump. And it does suck because you have some kids who are, like, ready to take their ceiling to another level.
Yeah.
But that's, since it's a group performance, group-based, you got to take the floor first.
Yeah.
And it's that whole thing, teach to the top 10%. I agree with that. Like, you move it towards the top 10%, but you cannot just let these kids who are not in the top 10% just kind of fall back and disappear.
Yeah.
Like, that's my biggest fear. I want everybody to be swimming in the pool together, not, like, staring outside, And it's tough. It's a tough balance. I've also thought teaching is, like, especially with what we do, there's the performance side of it, there's the kid side of it, and then there's the individual side of it. Like, as a teacher, I want to do this because it will fulfill me. But is it good for the kids, and is it good for our ultimate performance?
Yeah.
And then, as a performance, am I being a good enough teacher, or are my kids good enough to perform at this? And then, so it's like
Yeah,
it's like a
really
triangle.
weird,
It's a balancing act.
coexistence
Yeah.
between the three.
And you just hope it forms this perfect triangle, and you like make it happen.
And it's such a rough realization coming out of college.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, yeah, because you're working with these great, like, my last cycle with chorale, we were doing the Montan Mass, and this is like 54 pages of like 16-part split choir, and we're melodies and lines that I've never heard in my life, like completely different from everything I've ever sung. And we sing it, and I'm just like, wow, this is amazing, even though we didn't do too great of a job. But that wasn't on me. I had my rhythms down, somebody else.
Throw shade. Check.
Well, I mean, you know.
They know who they are.
Ceiling, floor.
They know who they are.
We just had this conversation. Ceiling, floor.
They know who they are.
The floor showed up. So, but it was still a great performance. Like, it was still great. Like, and I loved it, every second of it. But then you go from that to teaching Mary Lane Lightfoot, who's like a 3-part split, but it's like 1 for 5, you know, with a 3 and a 6 thrown in there. And you might get a spicy 7. Like, you know, and you're teaching these kids how to love the text, you're teaching the kids how to do everything you already love to do. And I found an educator, at first I was like, how dare you not want to know what pure vowel you sing on this word and how long you crescendo and decrescendo across this arc. But that's my job. Yeah. And that's something you got to pare it down until you get to those fundamentals, to where you're teaching the fundamentals, and then you teach that big stuff on top of it. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those things where, for me, it came over time. Yeah. Like, I'm so much more comfortable in the classroom than I was in my first year.
Absolutely.
Like, holy crap. Like, so much more. And, you know, and a lot of it has to do with just personal enrichment, but also personal, like, strides that I've made. Yeah. So it's interesting. Of course, this year is like I feel like such a bad teacher this year. Even though I'm doing a lot for my kids.
It's hard to feel good this year.
Yeah. I think across the board, it just feels rough this year. So, but hopefully next year, we have some resemblance of normalcy return as far as like how the classroom operates. And maybe we can keep on growing. I think, if anything, this year is teaching me how to diversify my teaching more. I mean, and I'm learning new tips and tricks to reach all of the students. Some of the stuff I'm gonna like making backing tracks for my kids, making video recording assessments for my kids, like all that stuff I'm going forward with, no matter COVID or not. Yeah, because it's better. It's good for them. It's better enrichment for the kids, and so.
For whatever reason, I don't know why. Like, so percussion obviously is such a physical. Yeah. Like act. I never thought to just like record my kids' hands.
Right. Because you're in the person, you're looking at the hands, right? Yeah. But now.
Yeah, it's just like
forces you.
Like just like I'm having the kids at the high school do video assignments. Yeah. So that way I can look at their hands and they can see their hands. But then I was just like teaching at the 6th grade, and because I'm an adjunct. I say adjunct professor, but just like
you spend time.
I spend time to like that's not my main campus, but just like we do.
Can't say it's adjunct because you're not getting paid extra for that.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
I'm saying that in a awful, like, that should be a thing, but you know.
I think there might be some stipend in there. I don't know.
I hope so.
It should be. Anyways,
stipends, man. What a joke.
What a joke.
Sorry, we're going back to the fiscal budget of a school now. My bad.
But just let me make sure it's still recording.
I'll be really sad.
Yeah, so
okay, good.
Cool. Yeah. But just like the 6th graders, like, hey, here's your first playing test. Yeah. I'm gonna record it, so that way you can see what I see. And then it's like, hey, so when I tell you you're super tense, this is what I'm seeing, and the kid's like,
what are you talking about, man? That's smooth.
And he's like, oh, I am really tense. I'm like, yeah. Relax, dog.
He's like.
Yeah. And like it's making things better. It's making things easier. But I mean, me and Evan have talked about this, not ad nauseum, but just like a lot, where it's just like we've had to change so much of what education is this year, that it's either people are figuring it out and doing really good with it, or their world's in shambles and they still haven't gone over it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally it's like a flex of both sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I know, like I set up some winter recordings. It's not gonna be a concert. We're just gonna invite. I'm gonna invite how many kids who want to come. Like if you're in person, I expect you to be there. But if you're virtual, you can come, and it'll be like an after school rehearsal, like they're doing for football or something like that. And then we'll see what happens. It could be awesome, could be awful. But I'm doing the thing which I'm supposed to do, and which is gonna be better for the kids. And I think at the end of the day, the thing that sucked the most this year is that we haven't had as much time to see the kids, at least on the middle school level, outside of the classroom. Like usually we do social events, we do like movie nights or stuff like that for our kids, just to meet each other in the programs and know, hey, you're in fine arts, I'm in fine arts too.
Yeah.
And just have a community in the school. And that's really what's lacking this year. Like we're not able to, we were going to do like a trivia night online and then like a movie night, but then we told the kids that it was going to be all online. They're like, oh. And I'm like, totally. I'm
get
with
it, man. Yeah.
And since the kids didn't want to do it, I mean, all right,
Yeah. My kids have been asking me since I got there, like, can we do a lock-in? And like, I was like, we can't do it now. So like for the first 2 years, because it was like, the first semester I was here, we still had a band hall, but we were fixing to get kicked out because they're remodeling it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, maybe. And I kept telling them, so like we were in a portable in the parking lot. I was like, the space is too small. I can't separate boys and girls. And there's no restroom accessibility unless I go in there with you, unlock the entire school. And like, there's too many rules to deal with.
Yeah, for sure.
And I told him, I was like, once we get the studio inside the band, inside the school, I'll do whatever I can to make it happen. Yeah. But now with COVID and all that,
the Browns
probably not gonna happen again this year. And I'm just
it's not.
That sucks. That because like the kids were so adamant about doing that, and I want them to have something like that because like that's a dope experience. That's a fun time.
Oh yeah.
But it's just not feasible this year, and it sucks.
Yeah. Like I think it's just pick up sticks this year. You do what you can, and you make it work. And I think at least for me, like I know my 6th graders and my 7th graders are gonna be stunted for next year, and it's not their fault. It's not my fault. Just next year, just got a lot of work to do, and make the best of it.
Yeah, me and the other assistant director, Marcus Duran at the high school, we were talking about this, I think before on Friday, and we were just like, he was saying like, we won't know the repercussions of this until this year's 7th graders are at the high school. So there's a 4-year gap of just like, how bad, how good are they? How many are there?
Yeah, how fast can we make up for this lost time?
Yeah.
I think it'll be easier for us in music because those kids will stay in our program, and we know those kids from a younger age, and we know what they're going to be missing. Compare that to like the core teachers.
That's fair.
Who like you rotate through these kids every year. Yeah. And you have the data, of course, but that doesn't mean you know their personalities. Like, we know personalities, we get to keep their personalities, and we know differences in their personalities. These core teachers just have names, and it's going to be harder for them to match that data to the name and how to implement it and all that stuff. So there's some advantages for what we're headed into. Still sucks.
Still sucks.
And that's all right. I think it's, again, going back to, like, accepting where you are and accepting what the conditions you have in front of you, and then just moving forward. Make peace with it. Yeah. And move forward and move, hopefully, in a better direction. Hopefully. Yeah.
We'll see.
Free kolaches for everybody. Show up to rehearsal, please. Please. I'm just kidding.
One thing you missed food wise from San Marcos the most? What is it?
I'll be honest, not much.
Really?
I didn't think San Marcos had a lot to offer food wise. I actually thought it was like pretty meh. I know, and
Okay.
and
There's no nostalgic ties, nothing.
So let me just. Now you can get me on my soapbox. Here we go. Everybody raves about Herbert's. Herbert's is bad.
Okay, it's not bad.
It is bad.
It's not bad.
It is bad. Like it's
Okay, you haven't had Mexican food here.
genuinely not. I just did, and that
You
was
had a
all
taco.
right. It was a burrito.
It was a burrito.
And I was hungry, so that's fair. I might have. I've been to Herbert's 3-4 times, and I was just like, no, man, nothing.
None.
But you gotta remember again, Corpus area. I love
A different type of Mexican food down there.
different type of Mexican food. That type of Mexican food puts you on your butt, takes a nap after you eat it. Like San Marcos Mexican food is like, yeah, all right. But so Herbert's didn't like.
Okay.
I went. If I was going to a Mexican place in San Marcos, it would be El Charro, the little hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the gas station, the yellow gas station.
So, for any listeners out there, I don't know if this is still true, but I got their beef twice. I probably went like 10 times over my 4 years,
Okay.
or 3 years in San Marcos. Probably went 10 times. Twice I got their beef. I got their beef nachos once. I don't know what they do to their beef. They have to brine it,
Yeah.
or they put gobs of salt on it. I had their nachos, and I threw up later.
Really?
It was so salty. It was like my stomach acid was brining itself because of the meat. It was so salty, and like I got dehydrated because it was so salty. Like I was sick for 3 days.
Jesus, son.
But then I still came. But it's not the chicken. It's not the chicken or the camaron. It's just the beef.
Just the beef.
So stay away from the beef. But
Okay.
still really, really good. If I had to go Mexican in that place, it would be El Charro for sure. Or the Mexican meat market.
They had a good salsa.
Yeah, the salsa was good. The Mexican meat market.
Can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong with that. I wish I knew about that while I was in college because I only figured that out after I started working in San Marcos.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that was a place.
How did you not know about that?
I never
That's
go on
all
that
I ever talked about.
But I never went to that side of town. I didn't go to that side of town until I started working,
That's
like
all I
half a
ever
mile.
talked about.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then
I swear it up and down by that place, man.
it's pretty good.
That's
I
great.
like it. I don't know. You have your stuff on the square. It was never like even okay. Everybody raves about Tap Room. Tap Room.
It's not good.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was giving them a little bit of a benefit of doubt. That's all
It's
right.
not good.
It's not good.
They got good ideas. The toppings are good. The burger itself,
Pretty bland.
wildly mediocre.
Yeah. I agree.
I stand by, even though again I was a former employee of it, but the burger patty itself
Yeah.
at Louis, far superior.
Never had a burger from Louis. Never did. If I was going burger, I would probably go to Gills. I like Gills.
Gills is good.
Not too pricey. Kind of hometown.
I mean, I appreciated Gills.
Yeah, it is what it
simple,
is.
man.
It was
Yeah.
simple. You put whatever toppings you want it. You got Mansky roll for dessert. That's probably what makes it go better. But you know,
Mansky roll's too much for me. And anybody that did the add-ons, you're a garbage person.
I'm a garbage person. I'm a garbage can. Call me Grover. I am living in that Sesame Street life. Like, I want the Mansky roll.
So this is it. Now, dude, this is not me saying everybody that rolls through San Marcos needs to at least get a Mansky roll once.
I agree with that. If there's one claim to fame for San Marcos food that is like college level claim to fame, it's probably a Mansky roll.
Mansky roll.
I can't really think of anything else other than no. That's probably about it. Gumby's maybe.
Gumby's. I
But-
was gonna say Gumby's and Fuego, but
Fuego.
those are
I love-
established college.
It's
foods.
true. If we're just talking about local. Gills.
Gills.
Mansky roll. So Mansky rolls, big cinnamon roll.
Massive cinnamon roll.
You put a Hershey bar on top. They cook
Melt
it down, melt it.
Yeah.
Then you put ice cream, and then you put fudge or peanuts or whatever.
Or
you
bacon.
want. Or bacon. They do bacon bits, stuff like that. And like you should share it. You should definitely share that.
Never get it by yourself.
Never get it by yourself. You will have upset stomach from the sugar overload.
Your face will get numb from the amount of sugar.
Acne. It's bad.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
It's delicious. It is delicious, but
Let me think here. Other food places in San Marcos. Yeah, man, it's just not. After living in San Antonio,
looking back at it, there was nothing spectacular.
after
about it.
living in San Antonio, man, I love San Antonio's food scene. It's just really underdeveloped. But once you find the places in San Antonio that you know are good, and it's great. And I'm kind of like, there's places I love in Austin, but I really actually prefer the food in San Antonio.
Kind of hate Austin.
I'm very fair weather about Austin. It's cool for events. It's cool for hangouts. It's cool for meetups.
Yeah.
It's not my vibe.
Not my vibe at all.
And I don't really understand why, because I like everything about it.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like square peg, round hole. You know? You know? Going back to that. That's Austin's round and I'm square, I think. And that's okay. I'll admit
Austin's
that.
a triangle.
Triangle? Of hate. No, I'm just kidding. Triangle of hate. No, one place I will always swear by in Austin, Ramen Tatsuya. They were voted best noodle house back in like 2015 of the whole country. Like,
really?
Yes, dude. So stupid good. So stupid good.
I ate there once. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it. There's a couple other places in Austin that are pretty cool.
It shut down.
Mm-hmm. Voodoo Donuts.
I've never been to Voodoo Donuts.
Voodoo Donuts is worth it.
Round Rock Donuts is worth it.
I see. Garrett brought in those Round Rock Donuts, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a donut. It's a big old donut. It's a big old donut."
That glaze is.
You like the glaze?
Something special.
I like the uniqueness of Voodoo Donuts.
Yeah,
Like,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it was a trash place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was going down as soon as it opened up.
Okay.
But Bobcat Nation.
Bobcat Nation. Now, let me tell you about Bobcat Nation here. I do not understand why that niche of Bobcat Nation didn't work out.
I couldn't tell you either.
I think it was just inconsistency, honestly.
Yep.
I think if the food was consistent all the time, like when it was opening, that food was bomb.
The food was great.
Great. And then by the time it was closing, I was like, nobody knows what they're doing back there. Nobody. Now, okay, so going back to San Marcos, just in general, if we hold up San Marcos cuisine and you have grins in your top 5, I immediately stop listening to you.
That's fair.
As for the food,
That's fair.
because like
For the ambiance.
for the ambiance, beautiful. One of the most beautiful restaurants.
Grins top 5.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the drinks, yeah, amazing. But
Oh, I don't know about amazing on the drinks.
for the price. For the price.
Dollar margaritas. All the time.
Floods of them.
You're supposed to have a 3-drink limit, but it really kind of turned into you're not allowed to order more than 3 at a time.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's probably the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I've tried a collection of things from Grins.
Yeah.
Did not like it.
Chicken fried steak was good. Chicken fried chicken was good. The steak was
passable. I actually enjoyed their. I know it's just tilapia too. I know they just opened up the bag, but their fish tacos were fine.
Yeah.
But I tried their burgers. I even tried their sirloin steak.
No,
Not good.
But Bobcat Nation.
Bobcat Nation. Okay. Had everything going for it. Had an 80-inch screen.
It was a sports bar.
Right by the music building.
Right by the music building, across the street from
Loved
the university.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the middle of the shopping center, so it was like very like able to see. It's not like it like kind of like tucked away in the corner. Really nice bar. Great lunch specials. The menu was clear and concise.
Yeah, it wasn't too much. It was
Drink
just
specials.
Yeah. Yep.
Were stupid.
And it wasn't ever super crowded because it was like off the square, and so you wanted to watch a game. We got the game on.
Yeah. Everything was it was set up to be successful.
And I think they just kept on changing owners.
People that were running it should not have been running. And also the people that hired should not have been working.
I was like, this is what we got, guys? All right.
Because like you said, the people in the kitchen had no idea what they were doing.
Had no idea. You can always tell that the kitchen doesn't know what it's doing when you order something and it's not busy and it takes about 45 minutes to get out. Because I'm like, either you don't care, which fair if you don't care, I guess, or you don't know how to put the stuff together.
Yeah.
You know,
which is a problem because it's a sports bar.
You gotta have that food quick. Yeah.
It's not even that. It's like you have to work to not do it fast because it's set up to be fast.
Assembly line. Yeah. I just want chips and queso.
Chips and queso.
Take 15 minutes. It'd be wild.
Chips. Okay, so
And they're not making the roux
Window.
You know, like
Yeah,
at order.
done. Nachos. You know how long it takes to cook chicken? Even if you're cooking it slow, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Chips. Chicken.
At the beginning, though, it was great. Yeah.
Cheese. Pico. Window. That's it. Still would take 45 minutes to get it out. But you can get yourself a vodka cranberry for $4.50, and it's a triple shot.
Heavy hands.
Heavy.
They did have heavy hands.
Heavy hands.
Now you know what? I these came back to me. Okay, Pie Society, I hold up. I like that is a pillar of San Marcos food.
I'm gonna say that's probably number one.
Yeah, I would say so too. Honestly, like as far as like uniqueness, quality, and like atmosphere, just love it. I love it all.
It's a good vibe. I'm really mad they got rid of the
Speakeasy. I think it just wasn't making them money.
It wasn't making.
They wanted they wanted to get like I think their vision for that was like to get the professors.
Yeah.
Like to have a community in there, like the just like the leaders of the town.
Just in general, there's that San Marcos is not set up to have a fine
dining or
not even fine dining, a fine drinking establishment. Because
true.
I don't know if you were there for it, but then they tried doing one in Harper's. I think it was called the Red Room. Or something like that. Yeah, so it was like you remember going up from Harper's to Veranda, and there was that door halfway up. That was where it was at, and it was it was like
low
fine
key.
Cocktails, low key, very like mixology
Just
heavy.
Doesn't work out.
I mean, I worked at the Pitch. That's what they were trying to do
For sure. Pitch.
and we all know how the Pitch went.
It's good ideas, but they're flames. I think San Marcos is a flame of the week community, and because we have so many college kids, so you know. But Pie Society's up there. Have you ever had Santi's Tacos?
I never went to Santi's. No.
Okay, so food truck at first by the rooftop, but now they have an establishment, brick and mortar.
Yeah, it was the old laundromat on the corner. Right.
That also was like a yogurt place or something like that.
Yeah.
So Santi's Tacos is good too.
Good. Talk about overrated aqua brew.
Yeah, for sure. But surprisingly healthy community.
Surprisingly healthy.
Yeah, but absolutely
Good vibes. Good ambiance.
Really expensive.
Really mediocre.
Really mediocre, for sure. They got all the high quality ingredients.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it taste good.
Yeah.
So.
One of those places where they try to do too much with the French fry. Just like.
Fig jam stuff, and I'm like,
no, just
whatever.
Just French fry. Just give me French fry.
I just need some ketchup with it. Like that's all I need.
That's all
Dos Gatos is good.
Dos Gatos.
I like that. I mean, it's not worth the $2.50 per kolache anymore, but when I first got there and it was like
looking back at it, man. Pretty priced.
You know what has taken a downturn? And I'm gonna make sure this podcast never gets sponsored because what do I say now? Okay. Pluckers, when I was at Del Mar visiting San Marcos, was the holy grail of, oh my gosh, this is great. When I got to San Marcos, oh my gosh, this is great. By the time I left San Marcos, I felt like they had changed their chicken. Their prices were $3 increased. I have a Pluckers right by my apartment. They literally just opened it up. And like I get it from there like once and I'm like, yeah, this sucks. And again, atmosphere, ambiance, it's always going to be in San Marcos. That place is always packed. But for what it was and what it is now, taking back 5 years, like that was perfect Pluckers.
I agree.
So.
I agree.
Yeah. And it was, have you ever been to, what'd you think of Palmer's?
Went there once. It was fantastic.
I thought it was good too. I just don't know why I only went there once.
Same. Yeah.
I think it was just the money. Didn't want to spend money.
Yeah. Palmer's was really good.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. I'm trying to think what.
There's some places that like I didn't go to because I wasn't of the means. Like Cody's.
Cody's, I went once.
I've went once too.
God,
it was amazing.
So
it was a good.
So good.
Went on Texas State.
I went
Choir
there.
Camp dime. Holla.
I balled out the first year teaching, going down to Team EA.
Yeah.
Met up with somebody, and I was just like, $120.
It's pretty expensive.
All right. That hurts my soul,
For
but
sure.
I know I have the money now, so it's okay.
I never got to try what is it called? Japan Latino?
Never tried there either.
But everybody says it's amazing. But
Shut down now.
Now shut down. Yeah.
Sad day.
But everybody was like, that is the place.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Never had it.
it's such a weird concept. Mexican food,
umami?
Japanese.
Umami was good.
I don't think I ever tried umami. That's the one that opened up in the shopping mall.
Yeah.
Never tried that one.
Um,
Remember when Cheer and Chow was the thing?
Cheer and Chow.
They had okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay.
That was garbage.
Yeah, you thought it was garbage? I thought it was okay. I was like, I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's just not effective.
It's not working. You weren't there for Delicioso, were you?
No.
It was a taco shop at Cheer and Chow before then.
Okay.
And it was wildly mediocre.
Wildly mediocre. Hey, Frozen Cave though. Frozen Cave.
That hits.
Legit good.
Yeah.
Legit good. I'm with that. I don't know. I like San Antonio's food scene. You have to look. And I kind of appreciate that about San Antonio. There's this place, I found it last TMEA, right before COVID, and Huevos con Taco. And just this little shop, just this family dude, no big, advertisement, just word of mouth. Those tacos are probably the best breakfast tacos I've had in my life.
Word?
And they're like upscale. It's not, we're not just talking about your standard Mexican fare. They're putting in some real thought to make it lifted, elevated.
Okay.
But it was real good. We liked it so much that we went there both days that we were traveling to TMEA. And it's 15 minutes out of the way. It's not too far.
Yeah.
But both days we went there to get
Made
the
it
tacos
a point
first.
to get there.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So good. Mr. Juicy, if you're ever in San Antonio. I know. What a great name. What an amazing name for a burger. Mr. Juicy, dude. Mr. Juicy and his wet sauce. Yes, Mr. Juicy's wet sauce, man. You can't cancel me. This is the actual terms. This is the actual terms of the burger. It's amazing.
Okay.
I'll show you a picture after the podcast of their dessert. It was blew my mind. So just straight up elevated burger. Really great burger, really great toppings, really great bun, really great fresh ingredients.
Hell yeah.
They are currently in a lawsuit right now because Alamo Burger or Alamo Longhorn, something like that.
Yeah.
They have on their menu not a Mr. Juicy burger, but something they call the Juicy Burger. And so they're suing them for defamation. And it's actually been this big Instagram battle. They're putting their affidavits on and stuff like that. And I'm like, y'all just have burgers. But anyways, Mr. Juicy,
It's kind of
wet sauce. They have a dessert where they make a cookie, but they put a special Hershey's Kiss in the middle, and they broil it down to where it's like a puddle of Hershey's Kiss, and you bite into it, and the Hershey, it acts like cheese. It's just it's stringy, and dude, amazing. Knock out of the park, Mr. Juicy. There's a lot of cool places like that.
Next level. Yeah, no, I mean, San Antonio's got some gems.
Yeah.
And I miss
Just
that.
stay away from anybody visiting San Antonio. Besides Fogo de Chao, there's really not anywhere on the Riverwalk I would recommend. Maybe Yard House. Yard House is fine, but it's pretty pricey. But as far as the Riverwalk,
there's a pub I went this last team that was pretty okay.
Yeah. But even then, it's pretty okay.
It's pretty okay.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah. Definitely don't get any Mexican food on the Riverwalk. It's garbage.
It's not great. It's not great, and you can quickly find better Mexican food within. Okay.
Just gotta go
Have you
15
ever
minutes
been
to the south side.
Have you ever been to Rosario's?
Never been to Rosario's. I know
Okay,
about
people
it.
swear
Yeah.
by Rosario's. I've been 3 times in my life. Every time I was like, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's not great. There's a place in Southtown, downtown, that is, what is it called? Oh, I forgot. Hot Joy? Hot Joy is what it's called. And it's Asian influences, fusion stuff. So they do little kebabs, and I got chicken hearts and chicken livers. Dude, slow roasted, marinated.
Yeah. Okay.
So good. Usually I wouldn't eat stuff like that, but we tried it. It was a part of a sampler.
Hell yeah.
Dude, amazing.
Good.
There's really unique stuff.
No, man, I'm on an aggressive diet right now, training for this bodybuilding show.
For sure.
But I am so excited to go try
To indulge afterwards.
Just get back to trying food. again. And I often poop on Temple for its food scene, but what's nice is that we've got one of everything, and the one thing is good.
That's good. That's all you need,
right?
You wish you had more variety and more like newness.
Yeah.
But at least it's quality.
Like we just got a new pizza joint. Trent, have you gone there yet?
No, I still need to go.
Go get yourself a damn pizza.
Go today.
Yeah,
for him.
For me. Damn it. But it's they they got one of those big ass wood fire grills.
Oh, dude.
And it's fantastic.
For sure.
The same people that own that right next door have the one coffee shop in town.
Nice.
Fantastic.
The
same people own the burger joint in town.
It's like the Katz brothers.
Kind of, yeah.
Temple.
Yeah, exactly. The only problem I have with the burger joint, it's better than Tap Room.
Yeah.
But similar to where like everything that they do on the burger is really good, but the burger itself is
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
you want a good burger in Austin? I took Jason and Scott here.
Okay.
Because I was big into, when I was in Del Mar, I was big into Rooster Teeth, like the production company from Austin, and I would listen to their podcast, and they would recommend places in Austin. El Casino del Camino or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, but it's right on the Austin Strip. It's on like 6th Street, I think. And it's a total dive bar. Yeah. Total, like, you walk in and people look like Grease, but like aggressive Grease, like when. So we were okay. I think it was we were in Current Trends and we needed some outside hours like of that stuff. So we went into Austin. Okay. Roseman flaked. He was supposed to wake up and go with us, but Roseman and
Dumb.
Friend of the show, Austin Roseman, didn't complete his graduate degree. No, I'm just kidding.
Cheated his undergraduate.
Can we get an audit? Can we get a recount for that credit hours, please? Sorry. He's gonna be so angry if he listens to this.
Nah, he probably won't.
No, Vince.
He's a garbage friend that doesn't support me.
He's been on the show twice. What are you talking about? Anyways.
No, he's been on once. Connor's been on twice.
Oh, Connor's been on twice. No, Connor's been in 3 times.
3 times now.
Yeah?
Yeah, coffee with Connor.
Step it up, Roseman. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Oh, my gosh. Loser. So we did this, like, 4 hours blocks of, like, really learning some really cool music stuff. Right on. Like, one was a Native American powwow. Love that. That was dope. One was, like, just learning about different ethnicities and how they encapsulate music into their culture. That was awesome too. Yeah. Some really cool stuff. And then we were like, we're hungry, let's go get a burger, or let's find somewhere to eat. And I remembered where we were, and I told him, let's go there. We went inside. There's like a little like tiki devil that has an erection, and like the waitress looks at us and is like, what the hell are y'all doing here? She doesn't say that, but like her face is like, are you sure you're in the right place? And I'm here just like, yo, I heard these burgers are great. And Jason and Scott are like, where did you take us, Vince? And so this burger place is famous for being rude, but not like how Dick's is, like, but like just the cooks. Yeah. The cooks are angry. And that's their rub. Like that is their aggressive style, and I appreciated it. And so I go up and I'm like, hey man, I want a mushroom Swiss burger. Can you put extra grilled onions? He goes, hey, I got this loser. He wants a mushroom Swiss, acting like we haven't got other burgers on the grill right now, acting like we have the time. And I was like, thanks, dude. I'll add some fries. Because I knew going into it, like that's how they were. But Jason and Scott were like, can I have the blue cheese? And it's just these big 2 hogs cooking. Yeah, of course. And it's so great. And we come out, the burger is fantastic. Okay. Like, super great. Medium well, like, cooked. I like it. Like, super good. But then on the whole trip back, we were, like, stuck in traffic. And we were like, that was weird, right? Like, that whole experience was weird. It was odd. Yeah.
We're all on the same page with that?
Yeah.
Strange?
Like, the waitress was, like, 55 years old, giving us water and stuff, and like, but in like a B-52's like bomber and stuff like that, like weird leather.
Yeah. Okay. Weird vibes.
Interesting. See, I like Austin food places that are like that.
That's
very
fair.
unique, very true to themselves.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Not big
I
enough.
went to this place called the Snack Bar, I believe it was called. That was pretty okay.
Yeah?
It
In
was,
Austin?
Yeah. It was a little pricey, but I remember the food was good.
Yeah.
It was like almost like an American tapas joint type deal.
Okay.
It
So
was-
little small dishes here.
Yeah. It was pretty okay.
Interesting.
And I went with my friend, and I had invited her, so I was like, yeah, I'll pay for it. But then I didn't realize that it was gonna be like $70. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Usually if I go out, I'm like, just the way I budget, I'm very frugal with my money. So if I go out and like, if I'm taking Felicity out, check. If I'm taking Felicity out and we go somewhere, usually like $100 is what I'm willing to spend.
Yeah.
Unless if it's like
Easy.
an anniversary and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're getting some drinks with that or stuff like that, getting dessert, then like over $100. But yeah, usually I like to find stuff within the $15 range, just because I
That's
think
good, man.
that's
Yeah.
that's where I should be living my life within my means. You know.
Food. I live like if I can easily and very willing to live outside my means for food on food.
That's fair. See, I'm willing to try. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to like live it though.
Yeah, no.
You know? Like,
No.
have you ever been to Chamagacha in San
Of
Antonio?
course.
Dude,
Balled out.
my voice just cracked because like that was so like I love that place.
It's special.
I've gone two times. There's only 4 locations. Do you know that? Oh, Atlanta, New York, Chicago, and San Antonio. Why San Antonio is in that, I have no idea. But I'm so fortunate that it is.
So grateful.
It's so good. It's so good. Love that place.
I went there for prom.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Have I told that story on here? Do you want to talk about prom?
Let's talk about prom, dude.
We're at 2 hours, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We're cooking.
I haven't even talked about. Wow, it's 12:40.
Whatever
Yeah.
works.
2 hours and 1 minute. Whatever.
We talk a lot.
We talk a lot. Yeah, I knew going into this one was gonna be a lengthy one. We haven't even talked about politics.
Yeah, oh god.
Whatever. Might get there eventually. We might not. Might have a part 2 next time.
All right, that's
Maybe
fair.
we'll have you on when the inauguration.
But it's so topical. It's
Yeah.
so topical right now. It's so topical.
Well, I was gonna say that's why like the inauguration.
Yeah.
See, well. Anyways, actually, I do want to talk about politics.
Look, we can get into
But
it whenever.
quick spat on prom. Was your prom good?
Define good. Define good. Define good. Like, are we talking like Rockport good, or are we talking like a lot of work went into it? I mean,
Okay.
So
Okay, let me tell you.
we talking about just senior prom?
Just senior prom because that's the only one that I went to.
Okay.
Let me tell you about my prom story, and you tell me if yours was better or worse than that.
Okay, you
And
go.
we'll go from there.
You go.
Okay, and I'll try to do Cliff Notes. February, people start tripping about having dates to prom. Like, I hadn't put too much thought into it. Whatever. I'm in the dance class at this point in time. I'm like one of the quote unquote featured male.
Ricky Martin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm the guy. So.
I love it. Yes, go. I'm the guy.
I'm the guy in the dance class, and so naturally I get put with one of the girls on the dance team
Right.
in the dance class.
You're right.
That's like because it was a cultural dance, so everything we did was partner work.
Well,
So I get partnered up with her. It's great. I'm thinking we're going to prom. I want to dance. Who better to dance with than the girl that I've been dancing with this entire
for sure.
year?
For sure.
She's a great dancer. A1. I ain't got no not dating her. It's just
Just having fun.
real simple.
Right.
Ask her. She says yes. Dope. March goes by. Somebody's like, hey, you got a date to prom, right? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, who is it? And I told them. They're like, when was the last time you talked to her about it? I was like, it's been about a month. Let me make sure that homegirl slowed down. I ask her. She's like, yeah, still good. Dope. Have you bought a dress yet? No. All right. What is that? April comes by. Still hasn't had a dress. I'm like, yo. Hey, are we doing this? What's up?
She was crocheting it for you. You
Getting
can't
a
rush
hand,
that.
Getting a
Yeah.
hand sewn by her abuela.
Yeah. She with the sewing machine, the foot power one.
Yeah. But she's like, I haven't gone, but I know I have an idea which one I want to get. It's gonna be red. It's like, dope. All right, now I can go get my ensemble together. I drop a couple. Like, I was balling at that point in time. I was working at Domino's as a delivery driver, so I had I had a stack of a couple $100.
It took a while for that to
Yeah.
register to me.
Yeah. Balling out.
Fat stacks.
Fat stacks of like $300. But I got that.
You know me, deep dishes this goodbye.
Yo, I was rolling. Right?
For sure.
I already bought the tickets. $100 there. Out the door. No problem. I invited you. I'm gonna pay for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you.
I'm gonna take you.
For sure.
Me and I talked to some boys, and it was all the dudes that I was on the robotics team with. I don't know why I decided to go with them of all people, but we were like, yo, let's go together. And it was partially because like they were the ones that like also had some decent money, and we had this idea to go to Chamagaucha. I was like, yo, let's go to Chamagaucha.
What a good
Big
idea.
bet, right?
Yeah.
Gangster.
For sure.
I'm like, I'm not trying to go to an Italian joint and get loaded up on carbs. I ain't trying to dance on that.
I don't know. Chamagotchi gonna be loaded up on protein.
Yeah.
Though, so.
But I'm gonna feel better about it because I went to Chamagaucha and you went
You're
to
on
Olive
the dance
Garden.
floor, meat sweating, just come out. You're like, anybody smell bacon? It's all this pork sweat coming out.
But yeah,
Hot.
I was working at Domino's. I'm balling. You working at McDonald's. You ain't got my kind of money.
For sure.
Let me flex real quick.
All right. Rags to riches.
We are not the same.
Yes, no.
So
You're pushing out quarter pounders now. I'm taking out delivery.
making stacks.
Oh, for sure,
son.
for sure.
So the day comes, everybody I'm going to Chamagaucha with bails. All their dates are like big struggling. Nobody's ready on time. I'm like, yo.
But how far out did you put the Chamagaucha plan out there? We talking weeks or months?
Like weeks. Like it was pretty well established.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
Okay.
it was like prom had started at like, I don't know, what time does prom start at? 7? 8, yeah. Can't be too late. Yeah, 7. So like we're like, yo, let's get dinner at 5.
Yeah, roll up. Yeah.
Light work. So I go pick up my date 4:30. Everything's going smooth. Pick her up, take the pictures. Super cute. She never shared them with me, and I'm still bothered by that. Like,
That is a little weird.
I don't know. I don't know what I looked like on prom.
You didn't take another picture?
Nah, because I picked her up at her place, and then we went to Chamagaucha from there. I didn't take her back to my place to get pictures with my moms. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
It's fair.
No
No photo booth at the prom?
photo booth. Well, we'll get there.
Okay. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
On the way over,
Uh-huh.
get a phone call from everybody like, yo, running late. My date's not having it. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't have $50.
We ain't gonna make it to Chamagaucha. I'm like, yo, I hope they still let me in because this was a reservation for like 8 people. And I ain't trying to get hoed and not get my dinner. We roll up.
This meat.
We roll up. They sit us at this 8-person table. It's just her and I.
You got all these sides.
All this space. Like, luckily they were smart enough to be like, yo, I was like, yo, I'm sorry. Like, I'm talking to the hostess. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. These people, they ain't show up. Can we still get seated? They're like, yeah, it's like that early dinner. So they're
Yeah,
tripping too much
it
about
doesn't get too fancy right there. Not
So they scale everything back. Dinner's going great. Homegirl's having a great time. Your boy's feeling good. Get the bill. My first power move my entire life ever, where I just get the bill. I don't even look at it. I just put my card in it.
That's a
that.
good feeling, right?
It's
When you
a
just
powerful feeling. Have you done that yet?
I don't know.
It's a nice feeling.
It's a nice feeling.
It's a nice feeling.
But you can't do it at like
McDonald's.
Yeah. Right? Like it's got to be like, it's established that like you're paying a lot of money. Homies that you're with know that you're paying a lot of money. And it's just like, nah, man, I ain't worried about that. There you go.
It's power move. Yeah,
Power move.
Absolutely.
But then I get the check back, and you got to sign it, so you got to open up that.
You gotta hurt on that power move. You're thinking about your tip. You're like, now if I
Homegirl, of course, also wanted dessert. I'm like, oh yeah, I got that.
absolutely not.
You want 2 desserts?
2 desserts.
Let's get it.
Now that dessert at Chamagaucha.
Cheesecake and like creme brulee. I think
The
that's what it
one,
was.
the one that set on fire though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, balling.
Balling. You got flames in front of you. Balling.
I opened that checkbook, $120.
Yeah. Before tip.
My soul dies a little bit,
Yeah.
but again, balling.
Yeah.
Can't let her know that
like the
stresses me out.
phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm still balling now. One of my wings is clipped.
Can't let her know that I'm tripping about this cash.
For sure.
$20 tip. Sign off on it.
Nice.
I died a little bit on the inside. I'm like, all right, still having a good time.
Still got gas money.
Still got gas money. Up until this point, homegirl's been straight kicking it.
Cool.
Been a good time.
Right.
We pull up to the place. We get out the car. We start walking inside. I'm like, yo, got tickets in the car. I'm gonna go inside. I'll go grab the tickets. I'll meet you in there. Word. I go grab the tickets, like fastly, briskly, making my way inside. I meet up with her. Mood changed. Don't know what happened. I'm like, hey, like maybe somebody like said something. Maybe she saw somebody she didn't want to see. No big deal. I'm sure like once we get inside and we start, dancing, it'll be straight. We go take the photo for like the yearbook or what have you. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't know what happened to that photo. I think they gave it to her. I never got it. I still don't know what I look like.
Marcus, you just made this whole day up in your head. Like, there's no evidence of this day. You have no evidence of this day. Sherlock Holmes could not figure out this mystery, my man.
Maybe it's a whole lie. Maybe I just been telling myself this for the past 10 years.
Once you got that 140 bill at Chamagacha, you just like...
I actually just went home.
Yeah. Nah, man. I'm done with prom. My wallet.
My wallet's done. I'm out.
I'm gonna sit on my couch and ball in my tux. This rented tux. I'm just chilling.
How dare you? I owned that suit. That was my suit.
I just rented. That's why I said it. Me personally.
Hell no.
Hell yeah.
Again, balling.
Bells, baby. Rented at Bells.
But we go inside. I'm like, yo, it's gonna be better.
For sure.
In a little bit. I ain't worried about it. We sit down. She's being mad, antisocial. I'm like, yo, it's a little weird. Whatever. All right. No big deal. Maybe, maybe it'll turn up. She'll turn around again once, like the night.
Never talk to you once about it.
Never talk to me once about it. I'm just like, hey, you good? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you're lying, but all right.
You want some water, huh?
And so then we go.
It's the meat.
Then
Chamagacha. She couldn't handle the sweats.
She had an upset stomach. That's all it was.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Plus the dessert on top. That's protein plus sugar.
Yeah, it's not a good
That's
time.
not. The enzymes can't break that down.
Yeah. But so we go do like the superlatives, right? It's like the best dressed, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm still mad frustrated by this. I didn't get best dressed.
Who got best dressed?
I don't remember. It was
Wait, you
one
don't
of those.
Remember?
No, I remember. It was Rogelio. I remember who it was.
Oh, we're atting him. Hey, we're coming for you still. All right.
And I'm mad because homie didn't dress nice.
What did he dress up?
He was just a hipster before it was a thing.
That's nice though. That's edgy. People love edgy.
Yo, your boy was button ups every day.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's your routine. That's his routine.
I know. I get it. Whatever.
Right.
But I won it 3 years in a row for band. And that's why I was mad. So I didn't get it.
I was stolen.
That award was built for me.
I was
and it was taken away from me on the biggest one.
That's wild.
So after all that, the music starts, and like to this day, I swear to God, somebody said my name, like called me, because like me and her were standing right next to each other. Someone called me. I looked over, didn't see nobody. I looked back, homegirl's gone. I'm like, maybe she went to like the restroom or went back to the table. I go back to the table, don't see her. No idea. Like 20 minutes pass, and then like I'm well established that I'm like the dancer guy. Like I'm always down to like shake my booty, right? And like people roll up and they're like, yo, dude, like why aren't you dancing? I'm like, hey, I was waiting for my date. I don't know if she went. They're like, hey man, just go ahead, go
for
dance.
Sure.
And, like go get on the dance floor. She'll probably find you eventually. Yeah, you're right. So I'm going, get my groove on. And I swear to God, man, the dance floor like splits like the Red Sea. And right down the pipeline, I see homegirl dancing with another dude.
Was it Rogelio?
It was not Rogelio.
Oh, what a murder. What a murder if it was Rogelio. I thought you were going to say it was Rogelio. I was like, damn, this dude
took everything from me.
Mark for blood.
And I was just like, yo.
That's rough.
Word?
Yo, no. In that moment, you go up to her and you say, where's my 70? I want your part of the bill.
But I was being a good person. And
Oh,
I was
for
like,
sure,
I was
for
like,
sure.
all right, whatever. I'm kicking it with my friends now.
Yeah, now you just.
I'm big chilling.
I bet that was relieving in a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But
It still sucks.
Then here's good guy Marcus again. I wait until like almost everybody's gone. Because I was like, yo, I took you. It's my responsibility to take you home. She left like 30 minutes before prom was over.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't tell me. I had no idea.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, me and like some of the homegirls I was with, we went to like one of those like Club Rios where it was like 18 like the...
I know. Dre told me about...
18-year-old night? Yeah.
Yeah, about these...
We go there.
Kid clubs.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super strange.
Super
Looking
strange.
back on it, not okay.
Sketchy.
But I go there, $10 cover. I end up having more fun
there
there
for sure.
with the people I was with than the $300 that I had spent for prom on this homegirl. And
no pictures.
And we still had to dance together because we had the spring showcase in a couple weeks.
Did she ever tell you why?
No idea.
Did you ever ask?
Nope.
Well, that's on you too. You got to ask.
Also, yeah. You're right. But also...
But that is mad awkward. You didn't
Yeah.
talk to the teacher and we're like, hey, can I get your second lieutenant? like we'll still be great.
Can we tag? Yeah, nah. So that was...
Let Rogelio take this. I'm good.
So that was prom, man. So was your prom better or worse than
It's
that?
definitely better than yours.
All right, man.
Golly. My prom, I went with one of my friends, and we went in a big friend group. I don't even remember where we ate, honestly. It wasn't like, when they said where we were going to eat, I was like, whatever. I could have picked it. Somebody should have asked me. I would have been better. But we ate there. We roll up to prom. It's nothing fancy. I don't know how fancy your prom was, but ours was like...
It was fairly put together, but I mean...
negligible,
Yeah,
fancy.
yeah.
It's
it was one of those stock...
For sure.
A night in Paris.
I think ours was a night in Paris too.
Something
honestly.
like that.
It wasn't anything great. I mean, we had a good time. Rockport's super awkward. The only dancing there is country dancing, and not a lot of people dance, and so it's pretty awkward. I do have a funny story. So I won Prince of prom.
Of course you did.
No. Vincent in high school was very shy. He only found himself at senior year. Thank you very much. Rockport's a weird place, man, and to say like our floor was to buck the system always.
Okay.
What could we do to always make the system go crazy? Gotcha. Not to work for us, but just mayhem. So we're voting in class for prom court.
Okay.
And my friend Andrew was like, yo, vote for me for king. And I was like, sure, dude, I'll vote for you for king. And then I looked around and I was like, you could write in anybody's name. It wasn't like a list. I was like, yo, vote for me for queen. This whole class did it. This whole class of 30 seniors did it. They voted for me for queen in my class, right?
Yeah.
But then some other classes voted for me, not for king, but like on the listings, right? So my aggregate score was enough for Prince. So I'm out here wilding.
Hell yeah.
I was like, I got Prince. All right, should have been.
Yeah.
Y'all should have thrown out those queen votes, but this worked out for me. So I got Prince. And I remember I was dancing with a girl named Haley, and she got Princess. And I was like, Haley, I don't know how to dance, girl. She's like, it's okay, just move with me. I was like, cool.
just move with me.
I was like, I shouldn't be here. I'm a fraud. No, but it was cool. I mean, I had a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Then after that, we went to my friend Mary's house. She lived on Compano Bay, and so she had a dock on the outside. So we just chilled after prom. We just like watch movies as a friend group. We were all like our theater friend group, and like we were popular. Obviously, popular enough for people to vote. But it wasn't like we were the jocks or the really popular people. We were just like the theater music people. Like we had fun together, so we did things.
Word.
But yeah, so that was prom. It was a good time. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but like for me, like it was just high school.
Yeah.
High school's high school.
I don't really remember it.
Yeah,
It's also been pretty well established on here that I have a 4-year memory.
You should get that checked out.
Yeah, no, it's a problem. It's a real issue.
That's bad.
Yeah, but like I can remember, like I remember the prom story because I say I've said it so much.
That's trauma.
Yeah, mad trauma.
No, I would be mad too if I wasted that much money.
Yeah, but just like other than that, it's like my memory is basically like a photo of like.
That's fair. I don't think that's bad though. Yeah.
But like I also just like don't remember my childhood. Like
that's
at
fair.
all.
That's fair. It's getting harder and harder for me too.
Yeah.
Like it goes by quickly. Especially we live in such a we teach in such the things we do require so much like CPU data from up here. Like we're constantly reanalyzing, thinking about how to improve. Like we're just in the moment so much that some of these backlogs, like my brain's just throwing it out and I'm trying to keep them because that's scary, you know. You don't want to lose everything about your upbringing. I don't know. Me personally, I gotta start journaling or something, writing it down.
Maybe that's why I do this.
Yeah, I think this is great. I love this. This is cool.
It's weird. It's weird that I like realizing it that there's now a catalog of me.
Snapshots of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's really cool.
It's also a weird thing we talked about. I think it was at the last podcast where him and Evan have heard me talk more than I've heard me talk since they go back and edit stuff.
That's true. That's very true, actually.
So it's a weird.
Yeah. So really, they've broken you down more than you've broken yourself.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a weird insight though. I didn't think about that. That's true. That like they're listening, mixing.
Yeah, especially like on his end because like he'll like on the early days when he came in, he didn't have that super like badass laptop. So he was cutting stuff on my desktop and the program was old. So like it just wasn't able to keep up with the new iPhone. So like he would have to circle back a lot, like open up the sound file, reline up the voice with the video, and then go from there. So
it's rough.
And now he's like pulling clips from stuff too. So he's snagging another 5-10 minutes of each stuff. But
that's cool though.
All right, man. I do want to get you out of here, but I did want to eventually kind of
whatever you want to. Here we go.
I know so little about politics.
Okay.
I still don't really know what a mayor and a governor is.
Okay.
I don't really understand what the Senate is.
Okay.
I didn't learn anything in government.
I like the government.
Like at all.
I really enjoyed it.
Didn't pay attention to that.
You should have. It's
should have.
I feel like most people don't. You know why? We should not teach government senior year of high school when everyone, including, we're talking everyone, from people who are going to go straight into the workforce to people who are going to higher education. Like, everyone's checked out senior year. Yeah. At least a little bit, a percentage, right? Because you're just thinking about, my life is about to actually start. What am I going to do?
Especially when they couple it, it's like government and economics. So one semester's government.
And those are two things we really need to talk about.
So important. And I've said this story on here before, but you know what I did for economics? Mm-hmm. It was an online course.
Oh, God. That's not good.
Already. Not good at all.
No.
Not good at all. You know what I did? Paid my homie, I think his name's like Ismail.
You should not say this on the podcast.
Yeah, whatever. I'm 10 years out.
All right.
But
what are you going to do? Take it away?
Yeah. The kid went to like MIT or something like that.
Yeah.
Kid's so much smarter than I am.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, man, I'll give you $80 if you take this class for me.
Handle this one.
I was like, here's 40.
40 when you get done? He did it for 80. He should have charged more than that.
He should have. And you know, he got me a B. I was like, hey, man, thanks.
Hey, I'll take that. Yeah. That's all right.
So I learned nothing from economics.
Yeah.
And then government, even less.
Yeah, and unfortunately, those are like two big things that like are the real world.
Yeah.
And will be applied for the rest of your life, but it feels like it's kind of afterthought in the school education system. Not to the teachers who teach it. Most of the teachers who teach it are really like inspired about that. Yeah. But I mean,
just by nature of the course.
By nature of the course, and again the time frame.
Yeah.
If you did that junior year, I think people would learn more.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it's senior year. Okay, so like, you just want like a basic overview, or
yeah,
what?
Man, just run down
Everything.
All right.
And
then I also kind of
lean into what
explain what's going on in Alabama.
Alabama. Georgia. I can explain what's going on in Alabama too. Tommy Tuberville, baby, our new senator-elect. Golly.
Yeah, see those words.
So, basically, government is a framework of what society should be. Okay. And so, like, since we have our president, right, from the president, we have two other big powers. We have the Supreme Court, and then we have the Congress, which is the House and the Senate, right?
Okay.
Checks and balances. These three form that triangle.
Yep.
Okay. And the Supreme Court should be able to control the executive branch and the legislative branch, right? Okay. The legislative should be able to help, should put input into the Supreme Court and the executive. So it's all feng shui, trying to work together. From there, you go down to the state level. And then you have your governors, which are your top officials. And then you have all the governors. Basically what they have for the president, secretary of state, all these chief of staff, all that stuff applies to the governors too. Okay. They have their own, but they're only focused on how their state operates within the country. They're not focused on like world diplomacy or anything like that. Then you go to your county level, you have your county judges, your county officials, and then you go into your municipal level, which is your mayors, your I forgot what they're called, but like they're like the House of Representatives, but for your town. Like, and so basically it's like everybody has power over somebody, but everything has checks and balances for that power, and which is how our system should work. Like, nobody should overreach their power in anything. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is that, especially now, we focus so much more on the federal side of it, the Supreme Court, the Congress, and the executive branch. Okay. But so much of society is dealt within our municipal branches of government, our counties and our towns. And a lot of people don't understand that it's not okay not to be involved for that. Like, you should know what's going on in your town. And what bonds are being passed for your town school, what roads are being built for your town, where are your economic incentives going towards. Like, that's why towns like Austin, these big towns, they get these like Tesla plants because they're subsidizing so much money for Tesla to be based out of there. Okay, or that's so Amazon, all these big things, they don't pay anything to get to these towns. Most of these towns will self-fund them.
Really?
Yeah, and it's really dangerous because then what that does is you're bringing in this outside entity, and this is going into the economic side of it, but you're bringing in this outside entity, which will on paper look great. Yeah. You're gonna get new jobs, you're gonna get new infrastructure, you're gonna get revitalized areas all over town. But what it does is it also takes out the floor, takes out the rug. So your mom and pop shops going to struggle because now there's an Amazon fulfillment warehouse right there. Your local grocery stores, the ones that supply a 3-mile radius where there's a lot of communities without cars. Yeah, they're going to struggle more, and so there's always a give and take. And unfortunately, we are getting to a society that is so well connected and so well intertwined with each other that when you do something, it will hurt somebody. Like, there is no such thing as a perfect solution for government, and you have to give and take. Yeah. But we've just gotten so far in our government's life expectancy that we're getting into really core issues for a lot of people. We're figuring out so much stuff. Like, we're getting into, like, if you think about it, like 300 years ago, we were still like barely fighting with guns, like muskets. Yeah. You know, 500 years ago, it was still swords. Yeah. Now we have self-driving cars. And you put it in that term, we are now, and we're going to space. Yeah. You know, we're now, private companies are funding space rockets. We've gone through this mass exodus of technology and invention and just knowledge. And I think we're getting to a point where we don't know what to do with it. Like,
I agree with that. Yeah.
like there's so much of instant gratification through our apps, through our connectivity, that we're really losing a sense of groundedness. And that's why I see, that's why I feel like I see a lot of people kind of groupthink is really big right now. Echo chambers are huge right now. And they're always going to be from this point on, because there's no way for them not to be. Through our own genius, we've unleashed krakens, and we've unleashed monsters that we can't put back in. When you think about it, when we grew up is very different from when he grew up, and it's not that much, like, time-wise.
Yeah. No.
But it is, because when I was getting out of high school, I still had a flip phone. Like, when I was going into college, then I got, like, the basic iPhone. You know, I looked through a yearbook at my school, and in 2006, they're talking about, would you rather have a cell phone or iPod Touch? Because you couldn't have music on your cell phone.
That's right. Yeah.
And so that was a question of, like, what do you want feasibility-wise? But now we're all connected. And everything's compiling into everything. We're getting stronger and stronger, but then we're losing senses of ourselves and actually what it is for, like, our well-being. And a lot of that is reflected in our government right now. A lot of it is just talking heads. I am of the thought that you should be educated in government before you actually seek public office. Like in Alabama, they just voted in Tommy Tuberville, who was Auburn's head coach with Cam Newton and won a national championship. And that's it. Like, he's never held a public office.
Yeah.
He's coached guys, and he made a national football team. Great. When they interviewed him after he won, he didn't know the three branches of government: the Supreme Court, the judicial, the legislative, and the executive. He said the presidency, the Senate, and the House. He forgot about the Supreme Court. Like, that's a problem.
That's rough.
That when he is one of the most 100 powerful men and women in our country, he is a senator. He is going to sit on committees that get intel briefings about the world, that deal with well-being of not just his constituents in Alabama, but all of America. Mm-hmm. And his votes will have ramifications, for world policy.
Yeah.
Because whether we like it or not, America is right in the center of the superpowers, you know? There's just a lot. I mean, unfortunately, I don't see us going back into a calmer time. What I do see us doing eventually is learning how to sift through the craziness and learning how to actually cope with all of this information being assaulted at us. When you think about how, like, I am a person who likes to be plugged in. I follow a lot of people on Twitter. I follow breaking news. I read news articles. But that's because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Other people, though, get their assault from information through Facebook, through Instagram, through like what they disseminate through their friends. And when you disseminate information through your friends, it's not a first-hand source.
Yeah.
If by that time, it's probably a fourth-hand source. Like, it's a story that you were told by somebody who was told by somebody.
Yeah.
Who is the story, you know? and so things get wilder and wilder and wilder. And, you know, I'm not going to get into the whole, like, where we are with conspiracy theories and like, fake news, fact checkers, all that stuff. But the whole reason we have a break in our cognitive reality is because we're viewing reality through this.
Yeah.
And instead of actually living it, instead of actually reading a newspaper, instead of actually talking about it, we react to it now. It's no longer talking, it's no longer discussing, it's reactions.
Yeah.
And so it's tough. I mean, as someone who really enjoys politics, it's tough because I just feel like there's a lot of good that can be done and always will be done, but it's just slower. We should be, with how educated we are, you would think that we would be past some of the petty stuff. But if anything, the petty stuff is on the rise. And from both sides. I mean, from everybody. It's petty from everybody. And that's what's causing division. My hope is, and we're not going to see it, like, we are going to be long gone from this earth, but eventually the human race is going to figure out that we cannot be selfish and survive the way we want to.
Yeah.
Like, we are going to figure out that it is good to help everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That it is bad to hate anyone. And that it's okay to give back. And I hope that happens, but I guarantee it's not in the cards for our lifetimes. And it's unfortunate to say. But
yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with expansionism. We're always thinking about how we can expand our brands and how we expand ourselves and how we can get better. And that was great, but unfortunately, there's always ramifications with that. We see that with the colonizations, throughout history, the pillaging of land and all that stuff. So basically, until we get to space and until we get to space colonies, I don't feel like we'll ever have peace here. Because it's just too big.
It's pretty bleak.
It is. But the thing is, our job is to make the best of it.
Yeah.
And to try to strive to that goal where we can all, in a feasible way, where I'm not taking away your rights, you're not taking away my rights. We're just cohabitating.
Mm.
But that's tough. That's tough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's not getting better. It's not. It's unfortunately not. But I think we'll drive through this. I do have hope that hopefully things are on the uptrend and things do get better. Unfortunately, it's just we have to roll the punches and hope that the people who are in elected official spots have the best interest for everyone in mind. But that hope is hard to have. Yeah. But as far as like the current state of everything, all eyes should be on Georgia right now.
Yeah.
The runoff there. So the reason the runoff happened is because Biden looks like he's going to win it. It looks like the court cases are going to be thrown out.
Yeah.
And they pretty much are. But and they did the hand recount. Biden still up by 12 grand on the votes. They're going to do a machine recount. They just announced yesterday. But the hand recount, you would think, would be more accurate than the machine recount. So usually recounts don't give you net anything between like 100 and 200
Plus,
votes.
yeah, like it's
and
12,
they just
12K.
recounted it. Yeah. But the reason why we have a runoff there is because there was 2 elections for senator.
Okay.
And neither of the senators got more than 50% of the vote. And so since the senators have to be more than 50%.
Gotcha.
And so that runoff's going to happen January 2nd, I believe. And that has huge implications because when Bush took office, Bush had Republican Senate and a House. When Obama took office, he had a Democrat Senate and a House. When Trump took office, Republican Senate and a House. Now, if Biden goes in with a House, but then no Senate, a lot of his stuff that he wants to get accomplished, for better or for worse, if you in your mind, but a lot of the stuff that he wants to get accomplished is going to get stone-walled. And that is because of the fine gentleman from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell.
The homie Mitch McConnell. Shout out to that turtle-looking
guy.
Garbage person.
He just likes to be obstructionist and not really, there's no compromises.
No.
And it's unfortunately, again, part of our climate that he feels like he has to do that way. But if you look at how it's stymied a lot, I mean, you look at Australia. Australia's paying their people, the populace, they're paying them to stay home during the coronavirus outbreak. France, England, Germany, again, like I think I saw in Germany, you could get up to 7,000 euros per month.
Jesus.
If needed.
So
like if you go through the right hoops and if you get the right qualifications. We've gotten $1,200 one time.
8 months.
And that's because, and a lot of people are like, well, that's because they're not talking. But the Democrats passed in the House the $2 trillion bill. It's been there since May.
Jesus.
It's just been sitting there.
Yeah.
And he won't even bring it to the floor for amendments. And that's the thing. When you don't bring it to the floor, then you can't even discuss it. It's like it's not even there. And so what I would like to see is that things have to go to the floor. And like, even if they're going to be voted down, you have to get these elected officials to decide and make choices on these bills.
Yeah.
Because if not, then we're just going off of what they're saying. And what they're saying is not what should matter. It's the yeses or nos or the abstentions on the votes for this country.
Well, I think the problem with a lot of these bills is the gross fact about a lot of these bills is that it's not just like a stimulus package. It's like they hide things.
Oh yeah, earmarks. Earmarks are always the thing, and you have to read this, 300-page document to see where everything's going. And fortunately, we're in a time and age where people do. That's their job.
Yeah.
But it's definitely tough. Like having as a layman who, not Michael but me, shout out check reference. As a layman who works a job and isn't trying to invest all his life into politics. Like, I don't have time to read a 200-page document before it's voted on and call my state senators and my state governor and try to say, hey, I like this or I don't like this. Yeah. And then even if I do call, why does that matter if I'm not the majority constituent? It's rough. There's no perfect thing. I will say that this whole cycle has been crazy. The legal system is holding like whatever it should hold, and it's just very interesting. Yeah. I do think I care about this stuff so much because I am such a history person. I love history. I love learning about our past mistakes and seeing how wild it is that we're making them once again, but in a more outrageous age. Yeah. But like, the history books of this time will include some massive, crazy things. And if they don't, they're actually like excluding some weird, crazy, wild stuff. And but that's part of the whole thing. We have more time to disseminate knowledge and record knowledge. Yeah. That stuff matters, and it will matter going ahead. I don't know. I'm just praying and hoping that those affected through everything, whether it be politics or coronavirus or just a regular person, I just hope that we continue to move that person upwards, a regular person. Yeah. And that's all. If my outlooks on politics is we should be helping people, and because once we start helping people, then we're on the right track. But even when you help people, you're gonna make some people mad, and that's just the truth of it. Because it's, how do you find the money? How do you find the court cases? How do you find the rights? Like, it's tough. But you should be happy with San Antonio as mayor. Yeah. That dude is buff. He is buff. Ron Nuremberg, man. And such a good name, historical name, obviously, with World War II and the Nuremberg trials. Yeah. But this dude is jacked. Look into my boy Ron. Hell yeah. He's really cool. But yeah, I mean, we could probably have a 3-hour discussion on politics by itself. Yeah. And honestly, if we want to do that, just let me know.
I think a good time to have you back would be the inauguration. Cool. Or what should be the inauguration. Fingers crossed. Whatever happens. For whatever that's going to be. But yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate you making the drive out.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course.
One last thing. Austin Roseman does not know more things about video games than me. Just to be clear.
Okay. Then.
Just to be clear.
That needs.
I was listening to that episode and I was like, "How do you not know this?" Just to call him out.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. There's gonna be an episode with Mr. Vincent Pena and Mr. Austin Roseman, and they're gonna have a debate off of video games. I don't know what that is, but all right, we'll set that up sometime.
It'll be half politics, half video games.
Half politics, half video games. Because he also, if I'm not mistaken, no, Connor's into the.
I'm telling you, put Connor in the
politics.
back with the synth and just let him.
I just need Connor here for forever and always, just being the live music option.
Harmonizing with our speaking. Do 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 do.
Oh man, but yeah, I appreciate you being on, man. Thank you so much for everybody that stayed with us all the way into the end. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed story times. I hope you enjoyed the healthy.
It's a quick 2.5 hours.
Quick
right?
2.5 hours, man.
Golly.
If it's with the right person.
Oh, absolutely.
This can, like you said, we can go another
a long time.
Another 3 hours, easy. Go take a quick restroom break.
I know.
Snack break.
Get
back to it, and we can
We're locked
keep
in
going.
here.
Yeah. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Y'all be easy. Peace.